Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to an E, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into Sports 56 Middays. It doesn't get any easier as the years go by to work, especially do a sports talk show on the anniversary of 9/11, and now today, the 18th anniversary of that tragic day. And it's with heavy hearts that we bring you the show today. We certainly look forward to bringing you everything in the world of sports, the latest in the world of sports. Great guests we have lined up for you today. We have a very busy show that I'll talk about in a second, but it is with heavy hearts. You see that date, and you just think back to where you were, what was going on, how it impacted our entire country. So, again, we'll never forget, but we will move on, and we will bring you 2 hours, make that 3 hours today of sports talk here on Sports 56 Middays. We welcome you in. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. No matter what stage you're at in your business, there's room to grow online. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. On the program today, first of all, we have some great guests scheduled. Steve Campbell's going to join us in this first hour, the head coach of the South Alabama Jaguars football team. They will be hosting the Memphis Tigers this Saturday in Mobile. We'll talk to Steve about his team. They opened up with a loss at Nebraska, 35-21. They made a bunch of mistakes, a bunch of turnovers, and still hung in there, and then beat Jackson State last week. At 11 o'clock, Jerry Palm will join us from CBSSports.com, as he does every Wednesday, although last week he joined us on Tuesday. Clay Helton, the head coach of the USC Trojans, will join us at 11:30. The Trojans coming off a huge win over formerly ranked Stanford, and then the bombshell of Lynn Swann's resignation earlier in the week. So we'll talk to Clay about all that. And then at 12 o'clock, Sigmund Bloom. Hopefully all your fantasy football teams are off to great starts, and you don't need to ask too many questions of Sig. But if you do, and I'm sure there are some, Sigmund Bloom will be here to answer all your questions starting at 12 on fantasy football. We got dinner and a movie, your chance to win a great prize package. We'll wrap it up with one final thing. We'll talk some USA basketball. It was not good as the United States team knocked out of the FIBA World Cup, at least from medaling. They'll play for 5th place, and that is not good. And then the latest with Antonio Brown and that saga, and the latest story that has local ties, and I mean local ties. We will discuss that on the program today. Great gesture what the University of Georgia is doing for their game against Arkansas State, and a little bit of baseball news, time permitting, with some bad news for the Milwaukee Brewers and some good news for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But again, Eli, it's tough. Every year the anniversary comes around, we know it's coming, and we know we got to do a show, but it seems strange. It just seems strange to be back and doing normal things on 9/11, even though it's 18 years ago that tragedy happened.
Yeah, it's it's two numbers when said together are never the same. You hear 9/11 and it just immediately takes you back to that day, which is one of the strangest days I've ever experienced. And I've been to the memorial in New York, which is quite a moving experience in itself. Plan on going back there again this year, actually, when I'll be in New York with Ole Miss over the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope to get there again. But if you have not been to that, if you are in New York at any point, you need to go there. It's very well done, and it is moving. It's something. It's crazy to think what happened that day. It just really is almost unbelievable to think that was even possible to happen, and how the world has changed since then. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Well, you hit it on the head there. It's not just how it changed for us in the United States. It changed the world. And it showed that even on your own soil, as powerful as we are as a country, that we can be attacked. So your guard always has to be up. It's unfortunate that we live in that type of world, but we do. And I think we've come together more as a country. I know we have our issues and we're divided, and especially in politics and things of that nature. But as a country, with the red, white, and blue, and I know in sports we have still the kneeling, and you could take it for what it's worth, what the real meaning is and all that. But that's few and far between. The patriotic, we never saw more patriotism come out after what happened that day.
Oh, that day brought this country together more than I think you could ever possibly ever imagine how together that this country was at that moment. So the unfortunate part was it took something as tragic as that to bring us together at that time, and we have drifted apart in some ways, no doubt, but do salute the folks at Moe's Southwest Grill who today, and there's other folks doing stuff all over the place in honor of 9/11 and first responders and all that. But for all you first responders out there, first of all, thank you from us as well. Mm-hmm. And if you go by Moe's today, you get 50% off your entire order at any of the Moe's locations around town today. So they're taking care of those first responders. We should all be taking care of first responders all the time. You know, we had the chance to be down at All-Star Chevrolet a few weeks ago, and they did the big day to honor all of the first responders, and it was great to see all those folks that day. And we don't say thank you enough to those folks. But yeah, it's today at Moe's 50% off, and they're doing their little part in trying to say thank you to those folks.
All right, several different things I want to touch on here in this first segment, and we'll get to Antonio Brown in just a moment. But first, if you have not heard, Team USA lost on all days. They lost to France 89-79, and now the best they can do in the FIBA World Cup is fifth place. USA had won 58 straight in FIBA and Olympic competition with NBA players. And yes, while there were NBA players, it certainly was not the NBA players that we're used to seeing in international competition, especially with the Olympics. So many players bailed out of this thing. So real quick, and I'll let you comment, and then we'll move on from this. It's disappointing, absolutely disappointing. But I'm not going to poke a finger at the team because those guys played. And it's your prerogative if you want to play or not. Some wanted to concentrate on the upcoming NBA season. Some had injuries, nagging injuries, some more serious injuries. They couldn't play. Others just did not want to play. I don't think this had anything to do with, well, we don't want to be loyal to our country. They just didn't want to play. And that's fine. That's your call. But I knew that team. I looked at that makeup of that team with all due respect to the Plumlees and the Lopezes. When you have a Lopez and a Plumlee on your international team, I don't think you're going to win the gold. And they did not, and they played very up and down throughout the tournament. And France, with NBA players as well, like Nicolas Batum and Rudy Gobert and Evan Fournier, beat them. And again, I'm not going to blame these guys because those guys went out there and played. The Marcus Smarts of the world, the Kemba Walkers. You think about all those stars. If they all played, Eli, all the great stars, Kemba Walker would probably be the What do they carry, 12 players? He'd probably be the 12th player. So, and he's a superstar. He'd probably be the 12th player. That's how good we know the NBA players are from the United States. It just wasn't to be. So it is what it is. I don't think people are distraught about USA losing. It's unfortunate. But it also happens today on 9/11.
Why do we not care? Because we're just going to use the excuse of, well, they're not our best players?
Yes.
They're still by far the most talented roster over
No,
there.
maybe not.
They are. These other teams have like 3 NBA guys.
It doesn't matter. It's all about chemistry. Those guys are used to playing with each other. They have camaraderie. These guys do not. Young Jason Tatum, who's also battled injuries, to try to find some type of chemistry with Donovan Mitchell, and then throw in Lopez. And it doesn't make me think that this is going to be a cohesive group that can knock off these teams, even though they have more NBA players. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. That's it. I'm not going to cry in my soup because Team USA, with a watered-down version, lost. We know when they have all their best players, they win. End of story.
The end of the last, 5, 6, I don't remember how much time was left after they had the 7-point lead, was a just train wreck of epic proportions offensively. They couldn't score, which is just mind-boggling how the team, Donovan Mitchell has 29 points but did not score in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Marcus Smart misses 2 free throws. Kemba Walker gets foul shooting at 3, misses 2 of the 3 free throws. It was it was crazy how bad they were offensively down the stretch. France ending the game with a 22-5 run. The
people are pointing fingers at Pop, saying he should have had different players on the team. I mean, come on. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. should have been on the team. They would have won the gold if that happened. I mean, just
I'm
not going to doubt. I'm going to doubt Pop now. And that's
you could say there could have been other guys on the team, but the rotation he used again should still win this thing. I mean, it's just they're the most talented team over there by a pretty wide margin, and so they should still win it. They had a horrendous fourth quarter, or horrendous last 6 or 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. You didn't by chance watch any of the game, did you?
No.
Oh my God, Tom Thibodeau doing the color announcing. I've never heard an announcer sound more bored in doing a game than what Tom Thibodeau. It was unbelievable. I couldn't figure out who it was for the longest time. I'm like, I recognized the voice, but because he would not. It was just complete monotone, just as boring as you can possibly
Why did they
be.
use him? He's boring just every day.
And then finally, I was like, why? Who's that voice? Who's that voice? It was driving me insane. And then finally, I was like, wait, I think that's Thibodeau. And then I had to wait till the end of the game when they finally signed off that it was indeed Tom Thibodeau. But my, oh my, he was, now they clearly were not at the game. They were doing it and watching it on TV. So I guess it's probably a little harder to kind of get the emotion of the game.
I've done that
sitting
once.
in a booth watching it on TV and you're not actually there with any crowd noise or anything.
Right.
But man, Tom, because the play-by-play guy was like, he would try to get a little excitement, something, breathe a little life into the thing. And then he would let Thibodeau talk and Thibodeau would just immediately grind it back to just complete, I don't care about this thing. This is boring. What are we doing?
Thibodeau is monotone every single day of his life. Listen to the interviews as a coach that he would give. But anyway, all right, so Team USA loses. That's a downer. Certainly it is. And then we have the story that came to, you can't go a day without an Antonio Brown story. Antonio Brown saw OBJ starting to get a little headlines because of the watch, which he says he'll continue to wear. And so now I know it wasn't Antonio Brown that threw it out there, but my gosh, every day an Antonio Brown story. Now this one, a lot more serious. Accused of sexually assaulting and raping his former trainer, Brittany Taylor, who happens to be a Memphian and went to Ridgeway High School. She said it started at his home in Pittsburgh in June of 2017. There were 3 separate incidents. The attorney, I don't know if it was the agent or the attorney for Brown, probably the agent, who went on social media saying, obviously, Antonio denies the allegations. And then the texts were released. And I got to be honest with you, I could pick out a few words. That was about it. It was impossible for me to decipher, but it is ugly. Now, what is crazy is as I'm driving into work, listening to Peter and CJ and Austin. And there is a connection to Brittany Taylor, kind of a Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation, but there is a connection, Austin, to Brittany Taylor. Do tell the folks who have not heard yet.
Yeah, so I know Brittany. She is actually the gymnastics teacher for my younger sister-in-law. So my wife's younger sister does gymnastics with Brittany. She teaches her, has been teaching her for several years now, quite a few years, that we've known her and been hanging around her. And she is a very upstanding person. I trust her 100%. I typically don't like to speak on these things, especially early, because there's always two sides to the story. And I'm not saying that Antonio Brown does not have a side of the story, because he certainly does. But I have absolutely no reason or no reason to think or believe that she's lying, and I trust her 100%.
Now, let's remember, there were no criminal charges. She didn't, after these alleged incidents, come forward to the police, so there's nothing criminal at this point while the investigation begins.
Yeah, and I don't claim to know the law. I know some people have already asked me today, well, then why didn't she file a criminal suit? She's filing a civil suit. She's just all about a paycheck. I'm not a lawyer. I don't claim to know the ins and outs of law or why the lawyer would advise her to go civil instead of criminal. That's something I can't speak to, but I do firmly believe she's not in it for a paycheck.
Well, we know that there have been times where women did not come forward for whatever the reason, and they were absolutely, it was corroborated that they were right, what they said, that they were attacked, that they were raped. It doesn't mean that that's the case in this situation. But if you're the New England Patriots, and again, everything I've read so far, Eli, nothing's broken yet, I don't believe, he's expected to practice with the team today. What do you think will happen? Will the Patriots do anything? Will the league do anything? You're innocent until proven guilty.
Well,
although
the league's investigated. The Patriots said they're basically have nothing to say on it until the league conducts its investigation. And the league has started an investigation now, and then they will wait to see what comes of that investigation.
But weren't players in the past suspended with pay while they awaited an investigation? In other words, with Tyreek Hill allegedly abusing his son and threats to his girlfriend, fiance, whatever it was, wasn't he sat down? I don't think he was a part of the Chiefs organization until he was acquitted, and now he's back on the team and signed a new contract. So should Antonio Brown be sat down while this investigation takes place?
I mean, Tyreek Hill was during the offseason, so it was a little different.
Yeah, but he wasn't allowed around allowed around Kansas City's
and it's a little,
offices.
And they also, I believe, treat it different when it's a criminal thing versus this.
That's why I'm asking.
This is a different situation than that. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably, I guess, up to teams how they want to do it. But the Patriots,
the league could step in if they want. But I don't think they should in this case.
No, I mean, again, this is a civil court case, and they're investigating. They will investigate it and see what they find out. But no, I don't think he should be sat down until the investigation is complete.
See, I agree with that. I agree because, again, there's no criminal charges.
It's different if you are arrested for something, and then this is not that. So it's, it's again, I guess the team has they can do whatever they want. As far as that goes, if they choose to sit him or whatever, but I don't think certainly the league should, and I don't really think the Patriots should. I mean, you let this investigation play out from the league, and they will make a determination then. These are always very complicated matters that, I mean, people will always ask questions about, well, if this happened, then why did you go back to his house again? Weird things happen in these situations, so I have no idea, and I will wait and find out what comes of it.
Okay, we will revisit this topic later in the show, and I mean later, probably around 12:30. But we will get back to it because I'm sure some people out there would love to express their opinion about the subject. We will take a break. When we come back, the head coach of the South Alabama Jaguars, Steve Campbell, will join us. Just underway on a Wednesday. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
These seats are amazing. Shoot it! Yeah!
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Starlight Lounge presents an evening with the Progressive Box.
Adios, old friend. Yeah, I've got no secrets and no regrets. Well, a lot of regrets, but the point is I've got nothing to hide. Kind of like the way Progressive shows you their competitors' rates. You gotta put it all out there, baby. Excuse me, miss. Does this heart belong to you? Would you like it anyway?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparisons not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Sunrise on Jefferson is perfect for just about everyone. If you're a busy professional on your way into work, Sunrise is the ideal place to pick up a cup of coffee and a biscuit sandwich. Or maybe you just want to have a casual breakfast meeting away from the office, or you want to grab a classic lunch served fast and fresh. Whether you're going to dine in or carry out, there's really nothing in Memphis that compares to Sunrise. Whatever you're looking for, breakfast or lunch, chances are it can be found at Sunrise on Jefferson.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family owned since 1981.
It's car buying time now during Wolf Chase Nissan's Summer Savings Event. More cars, better offers, and bigger savings than ever before. Model year-end savings on every new 2019 Nissan in stock. Financing as low as 0% up to 60 months on select models for qualified buyers with approved credit through NMAC. Hurry in for exciting summer savings. And remember, if your car says Wolf Chase Nissan, you've got the best deal. WolfChaseNissan.com.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, 10:25 the time, hour number one of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. It's a solemn day around this great country of ours, but as everybody has done, we push on. It's the 18th anniversary of 9/11. So much football to get into. It'll be week 3 of the college football season, week 2 of the NFL season. The Memphis Tigers are 2-0, and they will hit the road for the first time this Saturday as they head down to Mobile, Alabama, and they will take on the Jaguars of South Alabama. They are off to a 1-1 start, played well in their loss at Nebraska. Had some mistakes, but certainly to hang in there with the Cornhuskers in a very volatile place to play, if you will, very fan-oriented, where they have a great fan base. That's not the easiest thing to do. And we are very pleased to be joined by the head coach of South Alabama. He has won everywhere he's been. He's got a terrific resume. He's Steve Campbell. You can follow him on Twitter at USA_HC Campbell. Steve Campbell joining us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. So I try to encapsulate the opener against Nebraska. It looked like you hung in there tough. I know there were some mistakes that were made and led to some touchdowns for Nebraska, but overall, what did you think of the performance, and what do you feel about your team's performance through the first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, we've done some good things, some things that lets us know that we got a chance to have a great football team. But we've made enough mistakes to, Nebraska, we outgained them, total yards, first downs, everything like that. But turnovers and here we are in 2019, and the same statistic that in 1979 is the same one that matters today. If you turn the football over, you're going to have a hard chance. You're really hurting yourself, and that's what we did. We put the ball on the ground, and we threw an interception or two that hurt us, and the same deal kind of happened to us this past week. I mean, we rushed for over 400 yards and wound up with 37 points, and we really should have put that game on away, as Memphis went ahead and did against Southern this past week. So, we're doing a lot of good stuff. We're a very young football team. That should get better each and every week, and we need to be better this week when we play a Memphis team that is an outstanding football team. So, a lot of good stuff, but we've got some work to do.
With a game like that at Nebraska, do you like getting an opportunity to play a big Power 5 school like that?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, we look forward to every game's the most important game of the year because it's the next game and all of that. But I mean, it is great to be able to go into a place where they packed 85,000 in there for. I think it was 60 years, 1959 or 63 or something. They've had to sell out every game. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And, a great atmosphere there and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, football is football. I felt the same way when we played Oklahoma Community College. If you're lining down to play football, every game's the biggest game, regardless of who you're, how many people are in the stands. It's a great opportunity to play. Yes, it's fun to go play, the Nebraskas, but every game is a great opportunity. And if you love football, it doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. It's just, you get, you mentioned that the anniversary of 9/11. That's one of the deals where we're so blessed to be able to play. What a great game, regardless of who you're playing or whatever. So, each game's a big game.
Absolutely. Steve Campbell's joining us, the head coach of the South Alabama Jaguars. You mentioned the youth of this team, but you do have a senior running back, and you talked about the running game so far is off to a great start. Trey Minter, your senior running back, and a number of other backs who have done a nice job. Tell us a little bit about this offense. Cephas Johnson, your quarterback, and what we can expect to see Saturday when Memphis comes a-calling.
Yeah. Trey's played really well for us. Yeah, he does a lot of different things for us as far as catching the football, running the ball, punt return, kick returns. He's a great player, and Kwan Baker's another guy on the outside that he plays a slot for us that we need to get the ball to, and Jalen Tolbert is a guy that we have not utilized as much as we need to, and we need to get him the ball, and Davin Flanord. But we had, that this past week, we just settled in and said, let's run the football. And they were giving us a good box count to be able to do it. So we just kept running the ball and they kept safeties deep and did all the things that invited you to run the ball. And we were able to do that. Now, what we've got to do is when people load the box up, which we've got to take advantage of what's available in the passing game. And Cephas is getting better. That was his second start this past week, and he hit a couple of big plays for us, both with his feet and with his arm. And we've got to keep giving him opportunities to do that, and he needs to make the play when called upon.
Last year, you had Evan Orth at quarterback, who had a big game against Memphis in that game. Yep. He's gone. Cephas Johnson got a little bit of experience last year. What kind of quarterback is he? What does he bring?
Cephas he's a big physical quarterback, tough guy. Can run the football and has a very strong arm, and has made some really good throws for us this year. And he's a guy that he's had 2 starts under his belt now, and he's a guy that's getting better each week, and he can make all the throws. And what we've got to do, we got to do a good job of protecting him and giving him the opportunity to get the ball to the playmakers. But very smart guy, loves the game. I mean, he's a coach's dream. Cephas really is a student of the game, and he's got all the physical tools. So he's a guy that we look for a lot of. He needs to have a great game this week, and he's preparing in a way that will give him a chance to have a great game. Does that every week.
Steve, when you look at the game tape of the Memphis Tigers, what do you see in their quarterback, Brady White?
Yeah, just efficiency. Very, very efficient. I think he's completing so close to 80%. Was it 77, 78, somewhere in there percentage of his passes, which is very efficient guy. And they're not all the little dinks and dunks. I mean, he throws the ball down the field and with a very high rate of efficiency. So he's a big time quarterback that does a great job of getting the ball to the playmakers. And y'all have, Memphis has great playmakers, to get the ball to. The receivers are very, very dangerous, explosive, and the running backs of the Gainwell we recruited him out of high school, and I watched him play in high school. What a great talent he is, and then y'all have got the offensive line. To me, is very strong, athletic. And then defensively, this year they're coming at you from a lot of different angles and doing a lot of 4-man front, when mixing in the 3-man front blitzes and the bear front. So they give you a lot of different stuff to prepare for with a lot of speed on the defensive side of the ball.
With the changes in the coaching staff, but a lot of the players, including the quarterback Brady White, the same. What do you take out of last year's game that as you get ready for this one?
It's hard to look at, like defensively, we hadn't looked at a whole lot of last year just because, we know that there's a change in staff and of course, defensive philosophy. So, we've watched a lot of stuff from Marshall and of course, the first 2 games of this year. So, they really can't take much out of last year's. There's been, a lot of personnel changes too.
I would imagine, like many coaches who faced Memphis last year, you're glad that Darrell Henderson will no longer be around.
And Tony Pollard.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. I wish a couple of more would come on out and declare for the draft. But, but I'm telling you, the explosivity has not. I mean, I think Ole Miss is going to be really good on defense this year. If you watch that game, you can tell they're good on defense. And as you saw what they did against Arkansas this past week, and then you put up 55 against and I think Southern University's good on D. You watch Southern's defense, which this past week we played Jackson State, so we had a couple of crossover games. And between Jackson State and Southern and all that, and Southern University plays good defense, and they put up 55 on them, and it probably could have been more. So Memphis still has weapons. I know Henderson's gone and Pollard's gone, but they've still got Mike and them have done a tremendous job of recruiting and getting talent in there.
All right, Coach, we'll leave you with this one. Obviously, and you can go with the coach speak of turnovers. We know how important it is because you saw it rear its ugly head against Nebraska. But taking that out of the equation, the most important thing that you have to do well in this game to beat Memphis?
Yeah, limit their big plays. I mean, they're very efficient on offense. Limit the amount of big plays, and that goes from not only their offense, but into the kicking game. They do a great job on punt return, kick return, and they came after some punts and had some success this past week. So, all of the coach speak stuff. I wish it was something, but that's why it turns into cliche because it's the truth.
Right.
I mean, it is. It's. I wish it was something different, but it's not. And kicking game, turnovers, explosive plays, period. And if you try to make it something other than that, it's not going to be.
Coach, I did want to ask you, because you have the junior college background. Do you watch the Last Chance U?
I try not to, but I did. Yes, I did catch some of it. I watched it the 2 years, the first 2. I saw season 1, and then I didn't watch parts of season 2. Saw some of season 3 and watched a little bit of season 4. So I do know what I know enough about it. Yep.
Would you have ever wanted it around? Would you ever want that kind of just cameras everywhere around your program?
No. No. I don't see that. The typically reality show stuff doesn't end well for the people in the reality shows. Has been my experience just watching any reality show. That doesn't seem like it seems like it, and a lot of people have done really well off of it. And but just me personally, no.
I don't know how the coach from, is it Kansas? Was that the 4th season?
Yeah. Independent.
Yeah.
And he could be the greatest coach in the world, and I got a kick out of watching it because it was so entertaining, but I don't see how somebody hires the guy.
Yeah, well.
You know what I'm saying? You try to put your best foot forward, but if you're going to really show your true personality on and off the field, and a lot of that's kind of questionable, it's right there in black and white. I don't know how anybody hopefully for the guy's sake, he gets that opportunity, but that's tough, Coach.
Yeah. I wish him well. He's done a lot to help a lot of young men, and we all have I definitely know we all have got our deals that we're dealing with, and I wish them all the best.
Well, absolutely, and I know you'll be dealing with Memphis this Saturday. Sure, I'm hoping that the Tigers will have a nice contingent coming down there, but we know South Alabama, those fans will be there, and it should be a lot of fun down in Mobile. Steve, we wish you nothing but the best. We thank you so much for joining us on the program.
All right, thank you.
Take care. That's Steve Campbell, South Alabama head coach. You can follow him on Twitter at USA_HC Campbell.
Yeah, Darrell Henderson last year had 188 yards and 2 touchdowns against them, so they're very happy not to have to try and tackle him again.
Well, not only do they not have to tackle Henderson, they don't have to deal with Pollard, and they don't have to deal with Patrick Taylor, who is out and will probably miss several more games, minimum.
Yeah, Taylor had 75 and 2 touchdowns against them, too.
So the guy they're dealing with for the most part is Kenneth Gainwell, a guy who Steve Campbell is knows very well from his high school days, as he said on the show, that he recruited Kenneth Gainwell. Davis Motorhome Mart is the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. Over 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, toy haulers, towable half tons, motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. Brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, and Tiffin. In fact, they're a top 10 Tiffin dealer in the entire United States. It may not be your cup of tea, but then again, it may be. My brother got the good news yesterday. He and his wife are driving to Memphis to come see me. I haven't seen my brother in a long time, and they sold their home, and they have a motor home. They have a big, beautiful motor home. It's luxurious, has everything in it you can imagine, and then some. And you can get a motor home tricked out any way you want it if that's the route you want to go. And there's some people that are certainly thinking about that for down the road. And if you are thinking about that, you have just a great dealership right here in the Memphis area. That's 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis, Davis Motorhome Mart. Give them a call at 901-332-3414 or go online to davismotorhome.com. Find out more about them on the website. They are family-owned and operated. They've been in business a long time. They got a big blowout sale going on right now on all the 2019s. They're trying to make room for those 2020s, and you get a brand-new 2019 at a great, great price. But it's a 2020 you're looking at. You certainly can get that as well. Leave the stress at home. Get away. Travel to your favorite cities across this great country of ours in a motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart. We will take a time out. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair bill this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair bill up to $1,500, even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us your repair receipt from any company and we'll buy your repair back. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in on that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioners get old and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs could almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Dirt happens, as well as debris, dust, and damage. And when they happen to you, you need good, clean, fast service. You need Hilo Commercial Services. Hilo specializes in construction, commercial, food plant, and industrial cleaning with customized service just for you. Hilo is also an expert at high dusting to clean hard-to-reach places. When dirt happens, call Hilo Commercial Services, 901-277-6733, or visit HiloCommercial.com. Hilo Commercial Services, good, clean, and fast for you.
And now, the worst commercial ever.
I'm Jake. And I'm Jack. We're the Plow Guys. How do we keep your driveways clean? With commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive. They help through the customized insurance plan that keeps our business on the road. And that's news worth shouting out loud simultaneously.
Enthusiastic yelling at the same time.
Yeah!
Terrible. Whereas commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive is anything but. Visit progressivecommercial.com to quote today. Insurance provided and serviced by Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. It's affiliated and third-party insurers.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Brett Young live at the Garden this Saturday at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden. One night, Brett Young, all the hits, with opening act Riley Green. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radians, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. Brett Young live at the Garden this Saturday.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I want to congratulate former Memphis Tiger and friend of the show, Sean Taggart. News yesterday that he has joined Scotty Robinson's staff over at Collierville High School. So how about that? We had Scott Robinson on, less than a month ago when he got the gig at Collierville, and now he's at Sean Taggart. I had no idea Sean was still in the area, but he's done with his career on the court, going to help out that Collierville High School basketball program. Mike is dialed in. You can as well at 360-8255. The First Bank phone lines are open. First Bank text line 67129. Hello, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys are old enough. Talking about Brady White, he reminds me of, you remember Steve Walsh played at Miami?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, he reminds me of Steve Walsh. Not a real strong arm, but pretty smart. And at least one thing that Brady did this year that he didn't do last year, he got about a 6-yard run there, if you remember the play. And before, he would have just probably sit there and tried to find a receiver and thrown it in, incompletion or lost yardage, So I think he's picked up a little bit, but it's really, I think the line's going to depend on how good he plays.
Well, that Steve Walsh comparison is pretty good. I mean, now that I think about it, very accurate passer, didn't have the biggest arm, wasn't throwing bombs, but was very intelligent. That's a pretty good comparison. But here's the thing. Brady doesn't want to run. You mentioned the one run. There's other opportunities when he could run, but he doesn't. I'm sure a coach doesn't want him running either. But remember last year, the championship game, he ended up running 6, 7, 8 times in that game. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he started making better. Another thing about the Grizzlies, the Iguodala thing, I don't know why everybody's so big in a hurry to get rid of him. Is you get towards training camp, I'm sure other people are going to get hurt or some other opportunities. I don't see any big hurry to get rid of him.
I'm with you 100%. Eli and I kind of disagree on that one, but I'm with you, Mike. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
I'm in no hurry to get rid of him. I said, you don't have to do it today. I'm just saying you don't bring him into the season.
David Cobb wrote a great story yesterday in the Commercial Appeal. He's going to join us on the show on Friday about Iguodala. That, if anybody wants to put the blame game on a guy who could be in Springfield, it's not guaranteed that he's going to the Hall of Fame, but certainly one of the top defenders and a great team player. But basically his point was the Grizzlies don't owe him anything. The Golden State Warriors are the team that traded him. So if you want to blame anything, blame the Golden State Warriors. There is no rush, as Mike said, and as I've been saying, and you just said, to get rid of him now. Because the closer you get to the season, and then even if teams, as I talked about yesterday, don't have enough assets to make a trade, and that asset may only be a second-round pick. I know they'd love to get a first-round pick. Then you hold on to him. As long as he is not going to be a cancer in the locker room, which I can't imagine a guy who's never been all of a sudden will try to be. As long as he's not that, then you move on, and as the season progresses and teams look to try to add a really good defender and team player, then the offers come in. So, again, you have him. He's under contract. Don't do anything.
Steve Walsh, by the way, the starting quarterback for the Cowboys' only win in 1989.
Little trivia. Did he wear like number 4 with the Hurricanes or something like that? Really, like a single number. I want to say something like 4. Did he play? And he played for the Bears too, right?
He did with the Cowboys. I can't remember what the exact number was. I think it was a single-digit number. But I don't know for sure what number he was.
And he played for the Bears too, right? Steve Walsh. And he was also the lead singer for Kansas, if I'm not mistaken.
He very well could have played for the Bears. Yeah, sure. I think so. Maybe, possibly.
I think he did. Can you look that up, Austin?
Did not exactly
Steve
have
Walsh?
an illustrious NFL career.
No, but I think the comparison was pretty good.
If I remember right, the Cowboys took him in the gosh darn it, I can't think of the name of the draft. Not the regular draft.
Compensatory or whatever that is?
The
supplemental draft.
Supplemental, okay.
Yes,
1989, round 1.
Yep, I could not think of the
It was the Cowboys. He also played for the Saints, Bears, Rams, Bucks, and Colts.
Well, I knew it was the Bears. I didn't know he played for
He
7 teams.
He played for the Cowboys from 89 to 90, the Saints from 90 to 93. That was his longest tenure anywhere. Then the Bears for 1 year in 94, the Rams in 96, the Bucks from 97 to 98, and the Colts in 99.
How many career starts?
Let's see here. That's a good question. He played in 80 games.
80 games? Wow. That's surprising to me.
I'm not sure how many. I can't find the exact number of starts. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
19 with New Orleans.
Almost 8,000 passing yards, and he had an overall quarterback rating of 66.4. His touchdown to interceptions were 40 to 50.
From the world of recruiting, Greg Brown, on his in-home visit from the University of Memphis yesterday. He's a 5-star recruit, and he is one of the top players available for 2020. This is what he said about the Memphis visit. It was a different experience because I was just blessed to be in the presence of NBA All-Stars. So seemingly everything went well on that visit from Penny and the entire staff. Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal saying that contrary to earlier reports, Jalen Green, Mike Miller was expected to visit Jalen Green today. Munz says that is not going to happen. He'll be a part of the crew going out to see Terrence Clark. So recruiting hot and heavy this week on the college basketball front.
So who was the other All-Star there with Penny?
Well, Mike in his own mind. No. Mike is an All-Star to us. He will always be.
No, he's not.
He is.
I am not giving Mike All-Star status.
He is letting it fly, baby. He is letting it fly.
Rookie of the year, 6th man, all that stuff, but he is not an NBA All-Star. You got to get your facts correct.
The university.
But maybe there was another All-Star there. Maybe somebody else showed up.
I don't believe.
Maybe Shaq was in town.
Yeah, I don't believe that was the case. Out. Tony Madlock did not play in the NBA, and Cody Topper did not play in the NBA. The University of Georgia is urging their fans this Saturday to wear some sort of pink in their attire to honor the late Wendy Anderson, the wife, of course, of Blake Anderson, who is now back at Arkansas State. Wendy lost her fight against cancer. I think that is a tremendous gesture from Georgia, and hopefully a lot of pink will be worn on Saturday.
Absolutely. Fantastic move by Georgia.
From the world of Major League Baseball, last night, the Los Angeles Dodgers clinched their 7th straight National League West title. They're becoming the Patriots of Major League Baseball.
I'm sure their fans were on the edge of the seat wondering if they were going to get it done this year or not. It's been such a close race throughout. They finally were able to get that thing clinched.
This is not so good news for the Milwaukee Brewers. Christian Yelich done for the season. 2018 NL MVP, having another banner year. fractured kneecap.
Man, that looks... I can't imagine fouling a ball off your knee so hard that you fracture your kneecap. That's got to be some pain right there. That's awful for them. So now the Cardinals, Austin's Cardinals, in that NL Central race, have the Cubs without Javi Baez, who was second in the MVP voting last year, right? Did he finish second? I think he was second.
Yeah, he was top 3 for sure.
I know he was in top. I think he was second. And Christian Yelich of the Brewers, who was the MVP. So the top 2 MVP guys from last year, both out for the rest of the regular season. So the Cardinals have the easy path to that NL Central title for you.
And they still managed to lose last night to a guy who hadn't won a single game all year and had an ERA of almost 8. But thanks to the Cubs for losing to help us keep that 4-game
Didn't
lead.
the Brewers lose too last night?
No, they won. They beat the Marlins.
They won. The Nats lost. The Phillies got a win last night.
At least the Cardinals did not walk 3 straight guys to force in the winning run in the bottom of the 10th.
I did not see that. I saw that on Twitter this morning. I was like, good grief, Steve Cishek falling apart.
Infield hit and then 3 straight walks to lose the game.
Ouch. 6 teams.
Haven't the Cubs had trouble with their closers the last couple of years?
The Cubs have had their entire bullpen's been they've got a lot of excruciating walk-off losses this year.
6 teams within 3 games for 2 wild card spots in the National League with about 19 games to go. It's going to be an incredible race. Meanwhile, in the American League, you got 3 teams battling for 2 spots: the A's, the Rays, and the Indians. All the rest of the divisions are pretty much wrapped, with the exception of the National League Central. Everything else is done.
It's getting done. And again, with the Brewers without Yelich, the Cubs without Baez the rest of the way. The Cubs do have the 7 games against the Cardinals, but I don't expect them to catch the Cardinals. At this point, I'm hoping the Cubs miss the playoffs completely.
Update on the update I just gave you. According to Adam Finkelstein, Penny Hardaway no longer expected to see ESPN top 60 wing Terrence Clark today. His buzz continues to center around Kentucky. So there you go. OBJ plans to keep wearing his watch, and now I think we've got the number down to about $190,000, the worth of the watch. We heard $250,000. We heard $350,000. I think it's $190,000. Pretty much a cheap watch. You get one of these things over at Target, at Walmart. But he says it's plastic.
It's like in the machine. You just put the quarters in.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Spits it out in a little plastic case.
He says it's plastic. He says it won't hurt anybody. I wear it everywhere. I wear it to practice all the time. I wear it in the shower. It's on my arm all the time. If it's not this, it's something else. So now we got OBJ starting to doing a little talking and squawking and all that stuff.
It still does not make sense. Okay, regardless of the fact that you wear it everywhere, why do you have to wear it to play football?
Right.
Do you really need to know what time it is out on the field? Is it just that
Does anybody really know what time it is?
That important that you just be able
I'm
to
telling you, he's got some money coming in from whoever made that watch somewhere.
They say no.
Well,
I heard
they can say it, but I don't think he's going to keep wearing it without a paycheck.
I heard who was it? I think it was Kornheiser and Wilbon on PTI yesterday talking about like with tennis, they're wearing the watches, they're wearing this, they're wearing that. Everything is sponsored. Everything is. But they said with OBJ, really, it's not. It's just his prerogative, his choice to wear this particular watch that's worth an awful lot of money. So the NFL, as of yesterday, had not spoken to him. I think there was a false report out there about having talked to him about it. But he says he's going to keep wearing it. So we'll see if the NFL says, no, you can't. It's going to hurt somebody. It's hard plastic. It still hurts somebody. And he says, nah, I'm going to keep wearing it. Well, then we're going to be looking at massive fines for OBJ.
I hope he fumbles and they go down into the big pile and then he comes out without his watch. Has to figure out who took it from him at the bottom of the pile.
Austin, what was the news you had on that you told us during the break with Brittany Taylor? She's about to get married?
She is. She's getting married this weekend. So it's been a very interesting, I guess, for lack of a better word, very week.
Why did it come out now? If she's getting married this weekend, I mean, you talk about distraction. Like right now, this happened, these, again, alleged events, 3 separate incidents of sexual assault and rape starting in June of 2017. And now it all came out yesterday after a couple days ago signing with the Patriots, and now her getting married this weekend. Man.
I don't know when the lawsuit was filed.
Yeah, I don't know when it was filed.
TMZ got their hands on it yesterday.
TMZ, man, they are good.
I have no idea when the lawsuit was actually filed. But
yeah, maybe TMZ was holding on and waiting. When we come back, Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com, Clay Helton at 11:30. Dinner and a movie to wrap up hour 2. And then Sigmund Bloom will answer all your fantasy football questions to open up hour 3. Lots to go. A long way to go. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
And now, the worst commercial ever.
I'm Jake. And I'm Jack. We're the Plow Guys. How do we keep your driveways clean? With commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive. They help with a customized insurance plan that keeps our business on the road. And that's news worth shouting out loud simultaneously.
Enthusiastic yelling at the same time.
Yeah!
Terrible. Whereas commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive is anything but. Visit progressivecommercial.com to quote today. Insurance provided and serviced by Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Its affiliated and third-party insurers.
If it's time for a new gun, rifle, or silencer, Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville on Highway 72 is the best place to go. I promise they have the newest, most exciting selection of guns and silencers you could ever want. I don't care if you shoot for fun, hunt, or just need a gun for personal protection, Tactical Guns and Gear has the best selection of firearms around. The only one-stop silencer shop in Tennessee. In less than 10 minutes, they do all the paperwork. Take your photo, originate gun trust, take your prints electronically, and the best part, you never have to scan them again. Yes, silencers are legal. No special licensing, just a simple background check. Silencers don't make your firearms silent. They simply reduce noise for more enjoyable shooting. Help protect against hearing loss. Reduce recoil. It makes you more accurate. Best silencer place in the entire state of Tennessee, right here in Collierville. For all things guns and gear, ask for Jake or Jim at Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.com.
Welcome to Moe's! We are so grateful for your service to our community. We are offering all first responders 50% off their entire meal this Wednesday on 9/11. Moe's always offers fresh ingredients. No freezers, no microwaves, just fresh. Don't forget, Moe's has great catering. You can get a fajita bar, a taco bar, or a salad bar delivered to your organization. Just call 901-606-3172. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday, 9/11 at any of our 5 Memphis locations. Don't forget, we have one in Olive Branch as well.
Hi friends, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Did you know that September has one of the most beautiful and desirable birthstones of all the gemstones that nature created? That's right, the sapphire is September's birthstone, and if your lady has a birthday this month or an anniversary, a stunning gift of jewelry with a gorgeous blue sapphire in it would make you brownie points for a long time. A ring or a bracelet, earrings or a pendant, you cannot make a mistake with a little box from Russell Brothers that has an exquisite piece of sapphire and diamond jewelry right in the center. And when she puts it on and you see that smile, you will know that you made the perfect selection. Fine jewelry is never out of style, and a gift from our large collection of sapphire jewelry accented with diamonds will keep her eyes sparkling for a long time. At Russell Brothers Jewelers, we've been offering the finest in beauty, quality, value, and service to Memphians and Mid-Southerners for almost 35 years. Come see us and let us show you what a full-service jewelry store looks like. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week in studio with us will be Ron Sells, along with some surprise special guest callers as we recap South Alabama and look way ahead in the future after a bye week towards Navy.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
When I was younger, so much younger than today.
Welcome back. 11:01 the time, hour 2, Sports 56 Middays. On this hump day, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, and Austin Eldridge. As we remember, 18 years ago, and the tragedy of 9/11 always will be in our hearts as we try to bring you a little entertainment today on a day that's hard to forget, and nobody wants to, believe me. We will always remember. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. It is Wednesday. It's time for JP.
It's time for Sports 56 Middays Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. It was a very special moment at your alma mater, Jerry, at Purdue, with the Tyler Trent student gate unveiled. Were you there for that?
Yeah. That's why I went to the game this week, was to be there for the dedication of the student entrance in the Ross-Ade Stadium, now named for Tyler.
A great gesture. I know a lot of people were there. It was well attended, a lot of media. What was the atmosphere like?
It was very, it was crowded. There was a big crowd. The students, of course, were lined up. There was quite a bit of media there. A lot of Purdue fans who crowded around the area, for those of us who could get close. There wasn't a large area for people to crowd where you'd be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the tone was appropriate. We're celebrating Tyler, remembering Tyler, and the things that he had done, in his life. And it also just coincidentally happened to be his 21st birthday that day, so we were celebrating that as well. Yeah, it was really nice. It was short and sweet because everybody wanted to get in the stadium and had to get in the stadium for the game, and his family were the first people through the gate.
That's really cool. And then Purdue goes out and puts on a good performance in handling Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it was. Obviously the offense is still pretty potent. In both games, even the game they lost to Nevada, the offense turned the ball over too much, but they were otherwise moving it reasonably well through the air. Purdue cannot run the ball, and Vanderbilt certainly had some moments as well, but. Purdue's offense was just too much.
Who needs to run the ball when you got Rondale Moore? I mean, I'd throw it to him every time as well.
Elijah Sindelar, Purdue's quarterback, has 36 yards rushing. He is the second leading rusher. Purdue had 70 yards at halftime of the Nevada game, the first game, and they haven't rushed for 70 yards since.
Wow. Yeah, but he threw 5 touchdown passes and just chucked the ball to that great receiver.
Passing yardage. He may not play this week, though. He got a mild concussion on the last offensive play for Purdue, and there's some question whether he will play this week against TCU.
Interesting. Has he been in concussion protocol?
Yes. He was not available to the media after the game because they were evaluating him still, and I haven't heard whether he's going to play this week. If he does not go, Jack Plummer, who is either the son or, I believe, nephew of Jake Plummer, would be the starter for Purdue. And he has not taken a snap at Purdue.
We have seen a lot of quarterbacks go down with injuries. There's been some season-ending injuries, one at USC. Yep. We have Clay Helton coming on the program in 25 minutes. What a wild few days. So Clay Helton and USC go out there with a backup quarterback, a freshman playing for the first time, as you know, and they throttle Stanford, and then Lynn Swann drops the bomb, which I guess wasn't that shocking to some people, but boy, the timing is awful. And there's and there's Clay Helton being asked about it. I don't think he had any idea that it was coming. No,
and it's the timing is only awful in the sense that it should have been sometime last year. For Coach Helton, I mean, you never want to be in a situation where you feel like your seat's kind of warm, and now you've got a new boss, someone who didn't hire you.
Right.
So that's never really a good situation. But this season goes more like the Stanford game went. He won't be on a hot seat, for very long. I mean, they got terrific play against what's a pretty good defense. To get that kind of production offensively from their backup quarterback was pretty impressive. And but they're going to have to do that consistently this season if they're going to have the kind of a season that is likely to save his job. And they've got a tough opponent this week at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be a pretty interesting game. At USC, of course, always plays a difficult non-conference schedule, and BYU on the road is part of that this year.
Jerry, last week for the second straight week, the premier matchup of the week ended up being a really good game. LSU gets the win over Texas. What did you take out of that game?
That LSU offense is good enough to enable them to compete for an SEC title and a national championship. Now, the question for them has always been, do they have a quarterback? No. Do they have a quarterback? No. Even when they had like Jamarcus Russell was like the first overall pick, and never really felt like, that was really the answer for their offense. But, Joe Burrow's doing a great job. 45 points is a pretty good number on a team like Texas. I mean, of course, Texas got 38 of their own. So, LSU may have more questions on defense than offense at the moment, but, the question that we ask annually about LSU, is their offense good enough? It looks like it's good enough this year.
So back to the Pac-12 and the shock of the weekend. Washington, a late game where a lot of people did not watch because they went to bed, lost the Cal.
Well, they had a 2.5-hour weather delay.
That's right.
About halfway through the first quarter.
I forgot that. I forgot about that. And I don't think that, look, if it affected anybody, it affected both teams, right? It didn't affect just one team.
Yeah.
But they lost to Cal. And I know Cal has been better on defense. They don't have a lot of offense, but that's a horrible loss for Washington.
Yeah. It basically eliminates them from the playoff, even if they go on to win the rest of their game. There's not a realistic scenario that would get Washington at 12-1 with that loss at home to Cal into the playoffs. But more to the point, Washington had the schedule advantage. That's why I picked to win the Pac-12, because they had Washington State at home, they have Oregon at home, they play Utah in the cross division, which isn't very good, but they get them at home. So they have all of their best opponents at home, and then you go to lose to Cal, and now you wonder if you're going to win any of those games either. Obviously you don't want to overreact to an early season game, and it's an upset for a reason. But man, Washington, they've got a lot to overcome now if they're going to even win the league. Forget making the playoffs.
So are the Pac-12's hopes now basically down to Utah?
Well, they're the only one of the three preseason favorites that still doesn't have a loss. I think it's possible for Oregon maybe to overcome a loss to Auburn, depending on who they're competing with for a fourth spot. I don't think it's possible for Washington to overcome a loss to Cal. And, let's not completely forget USC until somebody beats them, because, they looked really good last week. But pretty soon people will have film on their quarterback, and we'll see how, once they get deeper into the season, how teams handle them going forward. But it's, you can't really say no to that until somebody beats them.
All these years of knowing one Jerry Palm, I'm starting to rub off on him, because I was going to say,
I'm sorry, what?
Listen to this. I was going to say Washington with that loss is eliminated, but I know how you hate when I do things like that, and then it came out of your mouth. I love it.
It's just too obvious.
I love it.
It's hard to come up with check with me again in a couple of months and see what's going on. If there's chaos in places that open that back up for them,
they're done.
But more to the point, how are they going to get to 12-1?
Right. But they're toast. But I do want to ask you about Stanford this week. Costello's back at quarterback. They don't have a great offense anyway, but he's a better option for them. They go to UCF, an interesting game, who started a freshman quarterback last week for Wimbush, and I'm not sure what his status is for this week, but the kid looked good in a easy win at Florida Atlantic. What do you think about the Stanford cross-country jaunt to Florida to play UCF?
Well, first of all, kudos to Stanford for playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
That UCF isn't going to get a lot of Pac-12 teams in true home game environments, and Stanford has the toughest non-conference schedule in the country this year, and part of that is because they're traveling to UCF this week. I think, UCF, I think, is a touchdown favorite, and that makes sense to me. I mean, that's still a pretty good football team. I'm not worried about their quarterback situation. They've got a lot of good film thanks to USC and how to carve up Stanford's defense. So I'm liking UCF in that game. But you talk about the highlight game last week and the highlight game the week before. There isn't a highlight game this week. This might be the closest we have to a highlight game this week.
Yeah, it's the not one matchup of ranked teams. There's just a lot of bad matchups.
That was true of Iowa State. I thought it was a matchup of ranked teams, and then come to find out that Iowa State is not.
And if Stanford hadn't lost last week, that would have been a battle of ranked teams in
Yeah,
that one.
well, but that Stanford losing last week makes USC BYU probably one of the top 3 games of this week.
Yeah.
What about the game? There's 3 games on Friday, and Washington State goes to Houston. I know Houston lost to Oklahoma. I know they have a new head coach in Holgerson. They still got a very prolific quarterback. Washington State's off to a good start. Any chance in your mind that Houston wins that game? They're a 9-point dog at home.
Yeah, I think they could. I mean, they're just going to have to execute really well offensively and make some plays on defense because Washington State can score. And so Houston's going to have to be able to keep up. And it'll be a little bit different. I mean, it's kind of this sort of the same plan against Oklahoma because, Oklahoma's going to score and you got to try and find a way to keep up. But Oklahoma's defense, to me, is probably better than Washington State's. Maybe not. But because I don't know that Washington State's played anybody to really test their defense. But Houston's going to have to find ways to keep up because Washington State is going to score.
Yeah, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of points in that game. But the way it's going for the Pac-12, you just assume Houston probably will beat them. The Pac-12 just keep losing teams.
Yeah, well, I have more faith in Washington State than I do some of the other. I mean, Oregon loss was disappointing, but they lost to a really good team. The Washington loss, that's a conference game. That's not even a non-conference loss.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do?
Do you think with LSU getting the win over Texas on the road at Texas, and we'll see where Texas goes, could LSU finish 11-1 with a loss to Alabama and still get in without winning their division?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, it depends on what other teams do. But
especially if Texas won the Big 12, right?
Alabama, and especially if Alabama's the SEC champion. I think it's harder if, say Georgia wins the SEC and Alabama's 12-1, and you've got LSU sitting there 11-1. But I think 11-1 LSU and with an only loss to undefeated Alabama is a candidate for the playoffs. Sure,
especially if Texas were to go on and win the Big 12, that would certainly help them.
Yeah, but they would need Georgia. They would need Georgia to lose one game in the regular season, then get beat by Alabama in the championship game. Because if Alabama goes undefeated and then loses to Bama in the championship game, they have a better resume than LSU.
It's hard to envision a realistic scenario where 3 SEC teams could be high enough rated to make the playoffs. So you're right. I mean, somebody else has to take care of Alabama or Georgia.
Well,
probably more likely Georgia.
Would 12-1 Georgia with a loss to Alabama on a neutral be a better? I mean, we don't know how the game would go, but be a better thing than LSU at 11-1 with a win at Texas, but a loss at Alabama.
Yeah,
they lost to the same team. One does it on the road, one does it on a neutral.
Yeah, but Georgia gets to the
win on the road at a top 10 team.
But Georgia gets to the championship game. They win their division. They go undefeated during the regular season and lose to Alabama. I think that would be a better scenario.
And also beat Notre Dame, who we all expect to still be pretty good. So
and it would also be a win over Auburn, right? They play Auburn in a crossover.
Also, LSU would have a win over Auburn.
But that's true. That's true. That would even
LSU
out, I guess.
and Auburn. LSU's in the division, so they both play Auburn.
Yep. I'm a little worried this week about my Terps. They look great with the win over Syracuse, but I think there could be trouble at Temple. I don't know why I think that, but I'm worried.
Here's why you should be worried. I picked Maryland to cover in my best bets column.
You put the jinx, the kibosh.
Here's the thing. Josh Jackson has made all the difference.
Yes, he has. That's
right?
speed.
Now they've got a quarterback who knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, weren't they playing a freshman quarterback last year? Talented guy.
Right.
But Maryland had to run the ball last year behind an offensive line that wasn't really good at opening holes. This year, the offensive line is still going to be a problem against some of their better opposition. I don't think Temple's that. But Josh Jackson has made all of the difference in this offense because, he's a weapon with his feet, but that's not really, he's really more of a passer, but he's a smart passer. He's a good passer, and he's got great talent, behind with him in the skill positions, and that's why they're running up points. I think eventually, when they play the better teams in their division in the Big Ten, they're going to have some problems.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think
the same
Temple
thing.
is the team that gives in some trouble.
Well, look, Jackson brings that dual threat mentality, but he's also a bigger quarterback than the guys they've had in the past. Now, they've gone through a bunch of quarterbbacks. Every year, they're down to their third-string quarterback.
He's the best passer Maryland had in a while.
Yeah, he's really good, but he also has some speed, and then you throw McFadden and all those running backs in there. They have a lot of team speed. I don't know if they have a lot of team strength. That's why when they run up against Michigan State and Ohio State, they struggle. But Temple's always a physical team. That's what worries me. Although a lot of guys have gone to the NFL from Temple in recent years. They've lost some of those players, and they have a new coach in Rod Carey, so I'm not sure what to expect from him. But anyway, so the most impressive team you have seen so far, would it be LSU?
I guess if you're going to go by results and schedule, yes. If you're going to throw strength of schedule in there, then I would have to say it's LSU. But to me, the most surprisingly impressive team is Penn Maryland. Beating Howard is, that doesn't do anything for you. But the number they put up on a Syracuse team that people thought would be decent this year, that was pretty impressive.
Mississippi State hosts Kansas State. Any issues for the Bulldogs?
Probably not at home. No, I would think that that's a comfortable. I don't think they're going to, totally pound them, but I think it should be a comfortable win.
Okay, fair enough. Again,
Memphis the same at South Alabama.
Yeah, we had their coach on. Yeah, in hour one, they put up a pretty good fight against Nebraska. They just made too many mistakes, too many turnovers.
Yep. And then Nebraska went out and lost to Colorado, blew the lead and lost to Colorado. So maybe South Alabama was foretelling something there.
And maybe Colorado. It's been a while since the glory days, but maybe they have found themselves a coach in Mel Tucker. I know it's only 2 games in, but that's
you can't overreact to that. But they've got at least a few players, and especially the wide receiver Chenault, who's on a lot of people's All-American lists. So they're not devoid of weapons.
That was a fun game, though, bringing back the old glory days when they would play all the time, Nebraska and Colorado. He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. Check out all his great stuff on the website. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS and catch him every Wednesday during both the college football and college basketball season right here on Sports 56 Middays. Thank you, Jerry. Have a great week.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
There you go. Jerry Palm from CBSSports.com. At 11:30, Clay Helton joins us, the head coach of the USC Trojans. Well, dinner and a movie at the end of this hour. And then Sigmund Bloom will answer all your fantasy football questions starting at 12. You could text those in as early as you want, 67129. Hit us up on Twitter with questions, or you can talk to Sig himself at 360-8255 when he joins us.
Fleet Feet is the place to go for all your running gear, exercise gear. The folks at Fleet Feet will take care of you. You go on in and see them at either one of their 2 locations. They will take a look at the way you run or walk, and they've got technology to see exactly where you're putting pressure on your foot while you're running or walking, and then they'll fit you in shoes that are just right for you based on where you put the pressure, how you walk, how you run. Everybody's a little bit different, and all the shoes are a little bit different as well, and they'll get the shoes that are just right for you when you go see them at Fleet Feet. Plus, of course, they've got all your other gear as well. They always invite folks to get involved with things they've got going on. They do their monthly pub run series. They got other group runs they do, training programs from time to time. You can always get what's going on by going to their website at fleetfeetmemphis.com or their Facebook page. They keep you up to date with those things. And then all the other events going on around town. They sponsor a lot of 5Ks and other races. So you can always find out what's happening, what's going on from the folks at Fleet Feet. Again, in East Memphis, it's in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. That's there next to Panera Bread Company. In Collierville, it's next to Huey's at Poplar and Houston Levy. 2 locations for you of Fleet Feet.
All right, take this with a grain of salt. It is his agent, but Drew Rosenhaus on SportsCenter regarding the latest ordeal with Antonio Brown. I wouldn't be doing this interview if I didn't believe Antonio. These allegations are false. He denies every one of them. I'm very confident his legal team has facts that will prove this. Again, it is his agent. What do you expect? But again, there's no denying from the Brown corner that there was sexual activity, but consensual sex is what their argument is. We will take a break. Again, Clay Helton, the head coach of the Trojans, will be joining us after the break. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family-friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5 Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Family Leisure has the world's biggest spa sale going on now. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to sell. $8,000 spas now just $44.99. 4-person spas starting at $24.99. Swim spas from $89.99. Huge discounts on all spas. Get the lowest prices of the year with special financing available. It's the world's biggest spa sale happening now at Family Leisure. Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
we're caught in a trap.
So Monday night in California, the California State Assembly voted 72-0 in favor of the Fair Pay to Play Act. On Wednesday morning, this morning, the NCAA publicly released its 327-word letter that was also sent directly to Governor Gavin Newsom, who will have the opportunity to either accept, vote it in as law, or veto the bill. So this letter was sent to Newsom in advance of the bill being placed in Newsom's hands for approval or veto, as I mentioned. The Assembly Appropriations Committee in California Senate is expected to vote in favor, and once they do, it goes to the governor. If that happens, the law would take effect January 1st, 2023. Current NCAA bylaws state that any programs that roster student athletes who accept money or benefits from outside interests are in violation of NCAA amateurism rules. As a result, those student athletes would be subject to having their NCAA eligibility voided, not to mention their team's eligibility for NCAA championship competition potentially eliminated. So you have the NCAA right now jumping on this thing because they want to protect the sanctity of amateur sports. God forbid these kids get anything. And now you're talking about violations of their bylaws.
The sanctity of sports while they make $1 billion a year.
I'm confused in this whole thing, and I am certainly not a lawyer. Didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. None of that. And maybe somebody out there that is a lawyer or something would know. Why, just because this law is passed, why can't the NCAA still have it as the rule that you can't accept money to be eligible?
See, I would think they could.
Because, like, marijuana is legal in some states. That does not mean that the college athletes in those states get to smoke marijuana and be fine. Like, they're still tested and stuff for it. So why would this be different where the NCAA can't still have their rule? They've never said it's illegal. You don't get prosecuted by law for accepting money. It's just against their rules, and therefore you're not eligible. So I don't understand in this situation why, if that law is passed, why it really matters, why the NCAA couldn't still say, I don't care, it's against our rules for you to accept money.
I think they can, and therein lies the problem.
Well, but they can't. Clearly, why would they be pushing so hard for California not to pass this? It wouldn't matter to them if they're going to say it doesn't. Who cares? Pass whatever law you want. We're keeping our rules the same.
Yes, but those kids decide that they still want to go to California and play for a school in California, even though now it's broken away from the NCAA because now you can get paid for your likeness, whereas you can in any of these other states. So we'll talk about it more in down the road because it is a very interesting subject. It actually has to do with California, and we are very pleased to be joined by one of the head coaches out there in the state of California, our good friend Clay Helton, who's the head coach of the USC Trojans. They're 2-0 after a great win over then nationally ranked Stanford. You can follow Coach on Twitter at USC Coach Helton. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Clay, how are you?
Doing good, guys. How we doing?
Man, doing fantastic. We're just talking about this bill that's going to happen in California, which is going to be crazy down the road. But before we get you tangled up in that stuff, let's talk about this team. Off to a great start, great win over Stanford. Congratulations on that. And then you turn around and you're getting ready for BYU. You're celebrating a win over Stanford, and then boom, the Lynn Swann news comes. How surprised were you? Did you have any inkling that this was going to happen? And what does it all mean in the scope of things?
No, I've been really fortunate, Greg, to be with two great ADs here, in both Pat Hayden and Lynn Swann, who've taught me a lot as a person, as a coach, but also I have a tremendous appreciation for both men because of their care and concern for the student athlete always. We have a new president here in Dr. Folt that we're so excited to have here at the university, and obviously when there's change of leadership at the top, there's going to be transition and maybe changes in other areas, and that's just part of college. And we're excited to have Dr. Folt and have total faith in her that she's going to hire an unbelievable athletic director that's not only going to be great for our university, but great for our athletic department. And what do you do as a coach and as a team? You do your job. I mean, your job is to win football games and make sure you're successful on and off the field, and can keep a tradition of excellence that is USC. And so that's all we're looking forward to do. Is we've started off with a great start to our season, and now we got BYU coming up, our first road game of the year, and trying to be a mature team and get to the next game and try to go 1-0 on the week.
What has she told you through this process?
She was great. I tell you, to be able to have a phone call that she didn't have to make, but be able to have a phone call from her and go, man, Coach, just love what you're doing, your staff, the kids. It's so fun to watch the games right now. Just want to be there and help you be successful in every way. And she didn't have to do that. And it just meant so much to me for her to take the time out to reach out. And then our new interim AD, Dave Roberts, comes out to practice, right when he's announced, and is there with the team and shows his support for us and wants to help us win a championship. And so it felt really good for not only our coaching staff but for our kids that we've made this great start. We want to continue it, and we appreciate the support from our administration.
You always hear the saying, next man up or next player up. In your case, it certainly was apropos. You lose a terrific young quarterback in JT Daniels, and you go to a guy who, quite frankly, I did not know a lot about, and I'm not sure a lot of people around the country knew a lot about, in Keaton Slovis, and all he did was set records and electrify the crowd in his first performance. What did you expect to see from Slovis in that game against nationally ranked Stanford?
Well, we were really proud of Keaton. It is one of the reasons we named him the number 2 quarterback. We had 4 really talented quarterbacks on campus with JT and Keaton and Matt Fink and Jack Sears. And my dad came out for a week, and 48-year NFL and college coach, and he watched them all. He watched them all and said, man, I don't envy your situation. He goes, I was in that time period one time when I looked in the room at Miami, and it was Jim Kelly and Vinny Testaverde and Bernie Kosar. And it was like, y'all can play anywhere. That's just been the history of USC. It's always had great quarterbacks here. And, we started out with JT, who did a tremendous job for us in the opening ball game, and then all of a sudden we felt really bad for him because of the amount of time and effort that he put into preparing for this season and was really rolling in that game. And then you put a young freshman out there, and there's a reason he was named number 2. We know his talent, but we also knew his production level and his consistency, and he showed that. He showed that in this game versus Stanford about, taking what the defense gave him, finding the one-on-one situations, not overthrowing the ball, letting his playmakers make plays. And, if it wasn't there, don't force it, pull it down, get what's there, and get out. Played a very mature game for his age, and was really, really proud of him. He did exactly what we asked him to do. You don't have to be Superman, but wideouts and running backs and offensive line, y'all do. And that's what happened in that game.
What were the keys defensively in the second half when you shut them out?
I thought we shored up some things early. We gave up some gap integrity early in that game. We were playing a little bit of man coverage, and one of our linebackers got out of a gap, and all of a sudden it splits for a long run. We had a turnover in the red zone off a kickoff return, and you look up and it's 17-3. And we have this saying, so what, now what? So what?
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to happen bad, whether it's football or life. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react. And so that's what we said. We said, so what, now what? And we went down, we score, we make it 17-10. We make a little bit of a change on defense from a coverage standpoint, playing a little bit more zone coverage to shore up the gaps. And then our kids played really consistent football from there on out. And, I think we end up making it, 42-3 from that point on. And the kids did just a tremendous job of staying consistent throughout the rest of the ball game and competing for 60 minutes.
Clay Helton joining us, head coach of the USC Trojans. You went out in the offseason, you brought in Graham Harrell as your OC and quarterbacks coach. What type of difference has he made already?
Oh man, I tell you, superstar in the making. You don't ever win the lottery twice, but I did. Just having the availability to hire a Cliff Kingsbury and then back that up with a Graham Harrell. He came in. I was looking to simplify our offense to allow our kids to play fast. I knew the weapons that we had, and I wanted to be able to spread the field and go really, really fast. And so we're attacking every inch of grass. That's what he does, whether it's vertically, horizontally, whether it's inside with the run game. I think we got 6 rushing touchdowns in the last, everybody says air raid, but it's really not. It's taking what the defense gives you. And, so it's really hitting on all cylinders right now. Our kids have a belief in it, and they're really having a belief after the last game. And it's thriving right now. And now it's our job to make sure that we stay consistent, stay mature, and do this week in and week out.
What was that like with the Kingsbury situation? Is you hire him and then immediately, boom, he's gone. He's got an NFL head coaching job, and you're back out there trying to find a different guy. That had to be a little weird.
Well, the good thing about USC is you're always going to acquire great people. And, I appreciated Cliff because he came in here full board wanting to help us, and for the month he did, from whether it was recruiting, whether it was with the kids. But he came in and said, Coach, this is the only college job that I want. I want to be here. But I also want to be a head coach again one day. And we didn't realize that it was going to be in the NFL. But when he brought it to me, I said, man, that's unbelievable. You got to look at that opportunity. You got to go explore it. That's a once in a lifetime. So we were just so happy for Cliff when it happened for him, and then the ability to get to know Graham and to be able to acquire him. Man, what a perfect fit for us, and perfect fit for our kids, and what he's done in the first 2 games, and the spring, fall training camp, and these first 2 games has been extraordinary, and I'm glad he's here.
Coach, what do you think of the 9-game conference schedule that you guys have in the Pac-12? Do you like that? Would you like to see it be uniform across the country with all the conferences? What are your feelings on that?
Right now we're in a 4-game playoff, and everybody's got to put their best resume forth. The one thing that I know about USC is if we do our job, our resume's intact. When you talk about a 9-game conference schedule plus having to play Notre Dame every year, next year it's going to be 9 games in Alabama and Notre Dame. Your resume's intact. There's no question. Did you play fluff? So it's something that I've always said, if you want to be the best, play the best. I think it does help prepare your football team for when you do get the opportunity to go to a playoff or a Rose Bowl and play those quality of opponents. So, it's where we are in our conference. It's an ultra-competitive league from top to bottom. It always has 9 to 10 bowl teams each and every year. And so it's something that you got to bring your A game every year. And if you do your job, you're not going to be on the outside. You win those games, you're going to be sitting there as one of the final 4 teams.
All right, final thing for you. Give me about 30 seconds on your opponent, BYU. Speaking of tough non-conference opponents.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with what they did. They, to go and play your rival in Utah, play a very physical game, and then, go to Knoxville, which, as we know, is not the easiest place to play. What a tremendous fan base there, and that's a hard place to play. And to be down and to fight back, and to get that game to overtime, and then find a way to win it, it shows a mature football team, and that's what they are, especially defensively. Kalani Sataki is a defensive coach by trade, and you can just see how well coached they are on defense, plus they're older kids. Offensively, they've got a tremendous quarterback. I'm really impressed with the young kid. He's creative. He gets out of bad situations and is able to create yards both throwing and running, and he's a force to be reckoned with. They've got a bright future there. I think Kalani's doing a wonderful job with the kids that he has.
Well, Clay, you got a lot of fans here in Memphis. We're rooting for you. Best of luck to you, and thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Tell everybody in Memphis I said hello.
I will. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Clay.
Clay Helton, the head coach of the USC Trojans.
It's got to be a little weird because the thing is, he's been through 2 ADs there now, and now he doesn't know who the next one will be. But, the 2, when you're the football coach, and when your 2 ADs have been Pat Hayden and Lynn Swan, they know football. So you're going to have full support when you're the football coach and you've got former, not just football players, but like great football players as your AD. They get they know what a football program needs. Now, you don't know if the next person's going to be a football person.
Right. Well, you would hope at USC, but you're absolutely right. There's so much uncertainty. I walked into our station today before our show began, about 20 minutes before our show began. I look up at the TV monitor, and Feinbaum's on there talking about Clay Helton. And there's a lot of people who felt going into the season it would be a real rough season and Clay would eventually lose his job, that Lynn Swann would resign, which he has, and then the dominoes will fall and they'll have a new head coach. Well, the way you rectify that situation, no matter if a new president wants a new coach or a new AD wants a new coach, is just win, baby, as Al Davis would say, right? You have to win games. And USC, to start out the way they have, getting a big win over Stanford, who came in as a ranked team, and they throttled them. If you can go to BYU and do some damage in the Pac-12, then that's the way you can keep your job. Because if it ends up being mediocrity, then they'll probably make the move. But he talked about that schedule. You know, Notre Dame, next year, Alabama. How about that?
Alabama, Notre Dame, and 9 conference games. I don't wonder who the third non-conference is next year.
I don't know. But and you know what? The criticism is going to be next year. If USC, let's say this is a facade and they're not as good as they showed the first 2 weeks. So next year, people will criticize Alabama. Oh, you played USC. They're not that good. Or this year, you played Duke. I can understand when you're scheduling Duke, even though they've done a pretty good job with David Cutcliffe. He's done a great job with them. USC is USC, and you schedule way ahead of time. So you hope that team is going to be a really strong team, and you're going to get, hopefully, a really strong win. But you don't know. So the people will come out, and they'll criticize. But when you put USC on your schedule as a non-conference opponent, that's strong.
Well, at least they do get a break in their third non-conference game next year. They get New Mexico. So they do get that break. Alabama, Notre Dame, New Mexico. That's the 3 non-conference.
I thought you were going sarcastic on me, and you were going to pop out like a Michigan or something.
No. They've got New Mexico. They got a bye week.
All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, we can squeeze in a few phone calls at 360-8255. You can hit us up with some texts on the First Bank text line at 67129, and we got dinner and a movie coming up as well at the end of the hour. And then in hour number 3, Sigmund Bloom. Get those fantasy football questions ready. He will answer those questions for you free of charge. And then we'll get back into the latest with Antonio Brown in our final 30 minutes of the show. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all 3. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Work Hog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
Hi friends, I'm Shane Stanford from Christ Church, Memphis. Here at Christ Church, we believe in Memphis and we believe in you. And every Sunday at 11 o'clock, we want to invite you to come hear a biblically based, Christ-centered message that talks about God's love for you and His guidance in your life. And also to hear an interview by amazing people who are doing incredible things for our city and our community. So don't miss us, 11 o'clock, right here on this station, every Sunday morning. I'm Shane Stanford. Remember, you matter.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Nice to hear Clay Helton talk about Pops, the Love Doctor. Wonder if people remember that with Kim Helton. Remember that?
No.
The Love Doctor? They called him the Love Doctor. He did some kind of like advice on relationships and stuff. It was funny. He was,
Dr.
a pretty
Ruth
good coach.
was my go-to doctor for that.
he was a coach with the head coach of the Houston Cougars at one point back in the day.
Time out for dinner and a movie.
I was hired to teach the boys a game of basketball, and I did that to the best of my ability. I apologize for nothing.
I think it'd be a big mistake to let Coach Dale go.
Forget about the crowd.
Give him a chance.
The size of the school.
I play Coach Day's.
Their fancy uniform.
He goes, I go.
And remember what got you.
All those in favor of the coach staying, say aye.
Aye. Focus on the fundamentals.
Those opposed?
We've gone over time and time again.
Coach stays.
And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners. All right! Let's go! Let's go! Let me hear it!
It is dinner and a movie. Opportunity to win a couple of Malco movie passes along with a $25 gift certificate to 117 Prime downtown with the Malco movie passes. Of course, you can go to the Malco theaters. They've got them all over the place. Check out movies out there showing right now, including It Chapter 2, Angel Has Fallen, Good Boys, The Lion King, The Peanut Butter Falcon, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Opening up this week, you've got The Goldfinch, starring Nicole Kidman. You've got Hustlers, starring J-Lo, among others. Over at the Ridgeway Cinema Grill exclusively, you could check out Brittany Runs a Marathon and Fiddler, A Miracle of Miracles, and Linda Ronstadt, The Sound of My Voice. Also, exclusively on Studio at the Square, you could check out Official Secrets. Of course, you could always go to Malco.com or just download the Malco app on your phone to know what movies are showing where and get all those show times. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. So it's always easy to find out what's showing when at the various Malco theaters all over the area. Here is today's question for the Malco Movie Passes, as well as a $25 gift certificate to 117 Prime downtown. J-Lo, one of my favorites, is starring in Hustlers, which is based on a true story, by the way. Jennifer Lopez. What is Jennifer Lopez's number one box office success as far as movies she actually acted in?
Mario is first up. Hey, Mario.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up,
How are
Mario?
you? Your guess on J-Lo.
Let's try My Little Girl.
My Little Girl.
Oh, I accidentally hung up on Mario. I hope he did he win?
I don't even know what My Little Girl is.
He meant My
I
Little.
don't think he won, Greg.
He meant My Little Pony. No.
And I don't see it even on her list of movies. With
Okay.
I don't even. I've never heard of that movie.
Accident.
Let alone tell you whether J-Lo was in or not.
I accidentally hung up. Sorry, Mario. Gary is next. Hi, Gary.
All right, guys. Hey, this is just a guess. How about Selena?
Selena is 18th on her list.
18th. She was pretty good in that movie, Selena. I saw that one.
That was her kind of breakthrough.
Yeah, she was pretty good. Greg is next. My namesake. Hi, Greg.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. What's your guess?
Let's go with The Wedding Planner.
The Wedding Planner did very well, over $60 million. That's in her top 10. That's 8th.
8th. Okay, we're moving up.
Again,
to the
this
east
is
side.
movies. And I want to remind folks, if you're just tuning in, it's J-Lo's #1 film that she actually acted in.
Okay. Well, it's questionable whether she acted in a bunch of them, but Kelly is next. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Would it be Money Train?
Money Train is number 16 on her list.
We're going the opposite way. All right. Next up is Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much.
Gary, what's up?
Let's try Monster-in-Law.
Monster-in-Law, $82 million. Not correct.
Not correct.
Close, but not correct.
What number was it on the list?
It is number 4 overall on her list.
So
but it is not number
top 4.
It is not number 4 technically in this question.
I got you. Andre is next. Hi, Andre.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. You got a guess?
Is it Home?
Home. It is not Home. I don't even see Home on her list.
Not Home. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. I don't. No, you are. It is, again, movie she actually acted in.
Okay. Digest it for a little bit, what Eli said. Think about it. We move on. Jay. Hello, Jay.
Boy Next Door.
Boy Next Door. No, that is 17th on her list.
17th. Okay. Archie. Hey, Archie.
Hey there. Is the movie Enough?
Enough. No, it is not enough.
It is not enough.
We need more. Not enough.
We need lots more.
I can't believe. I actually thought this was going to be fairly easy.
This has been one of our tougher questions in a long time. We've gone through a number of callers.
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Keith is next. Hi, Keith.
Hey, I'm going with Made in Manhattan.
Made in Manhattan, $94 million. That is absolutely correct, Keith.
There you go.
I would have thought Made in Manhattan would have been one of the first movies. I thought Made in Manhattan and The Wedding Planner would be 2 of the first movies guessed. Yes, Home, was only her voice. Ice Age, Continental Drift, only her voice. Those are her top 2 movies. Made in Manhattan is her top movie that she actually acted in. Keith, you are correct. You got a couple of Malco movie passes and a $25 gift certificate to 117 Prime.
Congrats, Keith.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful.
She is. We'll put you on hold, and Boston will get your information.
She's
She's
talking
lovely.
about somebody who has stood the test of time. It is. God bless A-Rod. I mean, that is greatest accomplishment of A-Rod's life.
You just beat me to it. You know,
he's a terrible broadcaster, but he's good at picking a wife.
It could have all went south.
She's not very good at picking husbands because she's gone through a few, but God bless A-Rod.
Think about this, though, with A-Rod. Now, forget about the money because he was financially set. He had the huge contract and all that. But the PED thing, all that, right, he was heading south, man. He was heading for a fall. And then, boom. The broadcasting thing, whether you think he's good or not, pans out very well for him. And then from his love life, it panned out really well for him with one Jennifer Lopez.
The fact that she's 50 years old and like it blows me away every time I see her. Like she is her and Jennifer Aniston. Maybe you should, if you have a daughter, name her Jennifer because apparently they don't age. Like those two. Both being 50 years old absolutely amazes me. But J-Lo looks better than Jennifer Aniston. Like J-Lo looks like she's 25.
Well, Jennifer Lopez works, and Jennifer Aniston works very hard, but Jennifer Lopez really works hard, working out, trainers. And, people will argue that, well, when you're that rich, you have personal trainers and they make sure that you're eating all the right stuff with nutritionists and all. I understand that, but you still have to have the will to do that, to still work out, to go as hard, to not pick up that little piece of cake that's sitting right there. So hats off.
Out of my curiosity, where was Parker on that list?
Parker? The hell's Parker?
It's a movie she played in with Jason Statham. That was my guess because that's the one I've seen.
Parker did a whole $17 million.
Woo! Just shot right up there to, 60th on the list or something?
21st. She's only got 29 movies total on her list. Geely is not last, by the way.
With Ben Affleck.
Geely is 26th.
Affleck. Never saw that. I saw Made in Manhattan. I saw Selena, and I think that may be it. What's your most popular movie? Like, what's one that everybody knows right off the top of their head for Lopez? Made in Manhattan
and The Wedding Planner, I would say, would be her two most popular, I would think.
Wedding Planner. Not to be confused with The Wedding Singer.
Certainly Selena would be on there.
Yeah, she was
Geely.
CJ says Anaconda.
Anaconda's 5th on her list.
She was like 15 when she made that movie.
Monster-in-Law it's Made in Manhattan, Monster-in-Law, Anaconda. Then you got another Anaconda. Ice Age, The Cell, The Wedding Planner, Jack, and Shall We Dance.
I don't really count the ones that they've voice acted in because but still.
I'm with you.
Yeah, the rest I don't know. A lot of these I've never heard of. But she's hot.
J-Lo or Kate Upton?
J-Lo.
Kate Upton for me.
Maybe it's a tie. Who knows?
J-Lo is probably my number one out there.
Really?
50 years old looking like that. God bless her.
And God bless America. We'll take a break.
I don't know how she does it, what she's done. The only negative really against her is the A-Rod thing.
That was kind of a blow.
So she has a poor taste in men, according to you.
Well, she's going through the husbands. She has gone through the men through her days. And how you end up at A-Rod, that wheel kept spinning. She got the transfer portal. She keeps getting in the transfer portal. It spit her out to A-Rod. She's got to get back in that transfer portal and find a new one.
She keeps on leaving $500,000 worth of stuff in a car. She might not be with him much longer.
You're saying this one won't last? Is that your prediction?
Well, her others,
Mr. Cupid,
based on her track record, I would guess that may not last.
Sigmund Bloom is next. He will last
soon, though. When
for 25 minutes.
Aren't they
Who?
Officially engaged, ready to get married?
Who?
J-Lo and A-Rod.
I think so. I don't know. I don't really keep up with the celebrity gossip.
I
thought they were already married. That's how much I know. CJ's going, no.
They don't do that commitment stuff out there in Hollywood.
Sig will answer your fantasy football questions, but not your fantasy questions. No, so don't bring up J-Lo with him.
She's only worth $320
Jump
million.
on the phone lines at 360-8255. First Bank phone lines are open. First Bank text line 67129. Sig is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
And now, the worst commercial ever.
I'm Jake. And I'm Jack. We're the Plow Guys. How do we keep your driveways clean? With commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive. They help with a customized insurance plan that keeps our business on the road. And that's news worth shouting out loud simultaneously.
Enthusiastic yelling at the same time.
Yeah!
Terrible. Whereas commercial auto and business insurance through Progressive is anything but. Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to quote today. Insurance provided and serviced by Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. It's affiliated and third-party insurers.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like Company Pages, where you can get people excited about working for you. And we give you this toy monkey, which will bang its cymbals when the right resume appears. Okay, there is no monkey.
I said there is no monkey!
But Company Pages, for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo to try Company Pages for free. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're well-dressed, people say,
nice suit.
When you're best dressed, they say,
nice suit.
The JCPenney Men's Best Dressed event is happening now. Score 50% off men's select suit separates, sport coats, and dress pants from Collection by Michael Strahan, Stafford, and JFJ Farrar. And for big and tall guys, shop Shaquille O'Neal, XLG, and more. Plus, get an extra 25% off with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. JCPenney. Offers valid 9/12 to 9/18. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn? You bet your boots.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by the Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a 1-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, final hour for us today here on this Hump Day edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help you take your business to the next level. It is time for Sigmund Bloom.
Time to get all your fantasy football questions answered. Joining Greg and Eli is fantasy football expert Sigmund Bloom of FootballGuys.com. Get your questions in by calling 360-8255 or texting 67129. Here are Greg, Eli, and Sigmund.
You can also message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Get those questions in because it is time for Sigmund Bloom from FootballGuys.com. Hi, Sig.
Hey, the most important thing is that Eli can have Super Bowl aspirations for the Cowboys dancing in his head all year now.
It's only the Giants. It was only the Giants. Calm down. Although Kellen Moore, clearly the best offensive coordinator in history of NFL. I'm not jumping. I'm not overreacting to week one. Just telling you, Kellen Moore, greatest offensive coordinator in history of the league. That's all. Simple.
And I want the Steelers to trade a second-round pick to the Cowboys for Kellen Moore.
The Steelers. Man. All right. So, what? I got a couple of questions from week one.
Yeah.
What do we take? First of all, because I still don't even know what to think. What do we take out of the Philadelphia running back situation?
I think that they're going to use all three backs. If anyone's going to trend up as the season goes on, it is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is the safest play. He got the goal line carries. He had a 21-yard touchdown called back by a penalty that really didn't have anything to do with the play. So, Atlanta had a lot of trouble with the Minnesota running game in week one. I think that Miles Sanders is worth a flex play, or if you really hate your second running back, maybe Devontae Freeman on the other side of that matchup, Miles Sanders' arrow is still pointing up. Darren Sproles has some emergency play value. Obviously, Jordan Howard can still run the ball well behind this line. He's just not as good of a fit for the offense as Sanders and Sproles. So I would not bail on Sanders yet. There was a much bigger game there for him if that touchdown didn't get called back and he converted one of his goal line carries.
You mentioned Devontae Freeman. What do we take out of Atlanta? I mean, they were down big early. What can we take out of that?
Well, it's certainly possible that after all the injuries for the last few years, he's just not the same player that he was before the injuries. And the usage of Ito Smith, they were almost interchangeable. I'm not a big Ito Smith fan. I wouldn't say run out and get Ito Smith, but I'm worried about Freeman. I'm worried about this whole offense, really, although some of that we could look back and say, hey, this is just Minnesota's defense. Minnesota's going to get Aaron Rodgers this week. So with Devontae Freeman, I would say caution. And, you could get 75 cents on the dollar for him right now, I might do that.
His name is Ito. Malcolm Brown, you said last week Malcolm Brown was a guy to have. What should we look for out of the Rams going forward with him and Gurley, and then Darrell Henderson really wasn't a factor at all?
Yeah, Henderson in a lot of rookie running backs, except for, of course, Josh Jacobs. We'll see. We already talked about Miles Sanders. We'll see about Dave Montgomery. Some of the other rookie running backs, Darwin Thompson, some of the other guys didn't get used much. Darrell Henderson still is still in a great situation, and I hope that they carve out a Chris Thompson role for him. But Brown, what we're watching is usage, and it looked like to keep Gurley fresh for December, January, what they're going to do is ease him into every game, use him to finish teams off late in the game, and allow Malcolm Brown to take the punishment on the inside runs, which includes those goal line runs, which he converted and looked good. So if this continues to be the way that they're used, we'll see against the Saints this weekend, then Brown is as valuable as Gurley, or maybe even more, because we see how many short yardage touchdowns this offense creates. Gurley also not being used as a receiver nearly as much as in the past. So we have to just take it at face value, because McVay is not going to tell us anything about this. But I would say that first week, the game was a game the Rams led the whole way. So that's probably a pretty good indication of their plan A with Gurley and Brown. Brown will be my number one waiver wire pickup at running back this week.
All right, let's go to the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. And first up is Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Hey, Sigmund, question here for you. I picked up Waller and Hawkinson. Got both of those guys this week on waivers because I was short on tight ends for sure. It's a PPR league. So I've got two tight ends, which I don't normally like to keep, but I couldn't decide between which one of them, so I just got both of them. It leaves me a little short at wide receiver. I mean, I've got great starters. Adams and Julio are my starters. I've got Gordon on my bench, but I'm wondering if I should drop one of those tight ends and pick up some bench depth, maybe John Brown, or keep both of the tight ends.
All right, Bobby, listen up. Thank you very much for the question. Appreciate it.
Oh, Bobby, I love John Brown, and I want to find a way to tell you to pick up John Brown. But T.J. Hawkinson looks like he could be the best rookie tight end since Mike Ditka. And Darren Waller's the one you want to play this week because they play Kansas City, and that's always good for the opposing passing game. So for this week, I would probably hold on to both of those tight ends, or maybe see if anybody else is in dire straits at tight end. Maybe you could trade T.J. Hawkinson in a 2-for-1 to upgrade a running back. I would try to get John Brown out there. I think he's clearly going to be the number one for Josh Allen. They face that Giants defense. Like Eli said, it's the Giants. That means John Brown's going to have another good week. So it's a good problem to have.
All right, I have a text question. You could text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Should I start both Edelman and Gordon against the Dolphins? I have Diggs and Kupp too.
Diggs is a little worrisome because of how little the Minnesota pass. And I actually think that Minnesota is going to be content. Minnesota and Green Bay are going to be content to play a low-scoring, slow-paced game. Kupp has a good matchup against New Orleans. So I think that I would probably go with Kupp and Edelman and Gordon. It's kind of flip a coin. The other thing we're waiting for here is news on whether Antonio Brown is going to play. He practiced, but I think the more that this is the headline instead of football, the more the league might step in because they're mostly concerned about perceptions. They don't want any off-field stories to steal the thunder of what happens on the field. Mm-hmm. So if Antonio Brown does not play this weekend, then I would go with Edelman and Gordon. If Antonio Brown is active, I would probably go ahead and go with Kupp and Gordon because I think Antonio Brown is going to get a lot of those same kinds of intermediate targets that Edelman got.
Some text here, 67129, First Bank text line. Thoughts on John Ross now and once A.J. Green returns.
Yeah.
Then thoughts on the Redskins rookie wide receiver. Is he a must-add in 12-team standard leagues?
So yes, on Terry McLaurin for Washington, and know that he was actually open for a deep touchdown, another one that Case Keenum overthrew, or he would have had even better numbers than John Ross did. So we want to see how that's going to work out. And remember, when Washington is ready to go to their rookie quarterback, it's Dwayne Haskins, who was McLaurin's quarterback at Ohio State. So all of these things are looking good for McLaurin. Ross, he had some terrible drops and then had some breathtaking plays. And as far as quickness, speed, acceleration, he's up there with just about anyone on the side of Tyreek Hill. So I would hold on to him. And even after A.J. Green comes back, you have Zach Taylor going extremely pass-heavy and really simulating the Rams' offense that he was coach for last year. John Ross is the Brandon Cooks in that offense. And we see, even when Brandon Cooks isn't putting up big stats, his ability to stretch the field, stretch the defense is important. So I don't expect Ross's role to shrink whenever A.J. Green comes back. I think Damian Willis, the rookie who played really well, undrafted rookie, he's probably the one that goes to the bench. So I would put Ross slightly ahead of McLaurin just because of the pass-heavy nature of this Bengals offense.
Is Gio Bernard worth picking up now in case Mixon misses time?
He would be for just this week. I think Mixon is more likely to play than to miss the first game, and it was about 70% Mixon, 30% Bernard before Mixon went down. So I think it depends on who else is out there. You know, I would pick up someone like Rex Burkhead or Alexander Madison, Malcolm Brown that we mentioned, Devin Singletary. You know, these are running backs I would pick up ahead of Giovanni Bernard, but he's a good running back, good enough to start for some teams. He just happens to play behind Joe Mixon.
What is Mixon's situation?
It's a minor ankle injury. The team seems optimistic. I think it might be a game-time decision against San Francisco, but it is an early game on Sunday, so we'll know. So Bernard's an automatic start if Mixon is out. If Mixon is in, Bernard still might get, say, half of the work to ease Mixon back into the lineup against San Francisco. But we saw Tampa's running game really crease the San Francisco defense after Tampa's running game did very little last year. So it's a good sign for Cincinnati running backs this week.
All right, back to the First Bank phone lines, and next up is JJ. JJ, you're on with Sigmund Bloom.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey Sigmund, how you doing?
Great.
Yeah, PPR league. My question is, I got Hopkins and Edelman starting as my wide receivers, and I also got Gordon that I could play. And I'm trying to figure out, do I want to play Waller as a flex or Gordon as a flex?
Yeah,
in that spot.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I think that, again, the missing piece here is whether Antonio Brown is going to play. If Antonio Brown plays, it's going to be more difficult to predict who's going to have the big weeks out of the wide receivers. And then I would go with Darren Waller. And Waller looks like a good play against Kansas City either way. But if Antonio Brown's out, I think you can count on a touchdown or more out of Edelman and Gordon, and maybe Philip Dorsett too. So if Antonio Brown's playing Sunday, put Waller in. If Antonio Brown is sitting, put Gordon in.
All right, thank you, JJ.
Is with the fact that it's Miami, is Brady a must start?
Yeah. I mean, his first half could be the number one fantasy quarterback of the week just in the first half. And even those running backs like James White and Rex Burkhead, especially because he was the one getting the garbage time work against the Steelers, Burkhead's a really good play this week.
Interesting question here. It says, I have a strong fantasy history thanks to Sigmund. This year I'm playing a $100 entry 10-team standard league against random people. What are your thoughts on strategy in that type of league compared to playing in a normal league with less advanced team managers? It says, I benched Aaron Rodgers and started Lamar Jackson. Should I do that again this week?
Yeah, if you have the insight to do that in week one, going against a lot of rankings and drafts, then maybe I should be asking you for advice. I think that when you're going against more random people, maybe it's a little harder to anticipate whether they're going to go with the consensus rankings where less experienced players are going to just go with the conventional wisdom. So maybe you have to be a little more aggressive on your waiver wire pickups and again, being a little bolder with your lineup choices, which I think that this person already understands.
Speaking of Lamar Jackson, somebody says Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson. I need a running back. Which one should I trade?
Probably. Okay, if you could get the same value for both Watson and Jackson, then I would say trade Jackson because I trust Watson to keep it up longer this year. Just because he's a magnificent quarterback, and with Lamar Jackson,
healthy,
we might
though.
That's well, exactly. So I actually think that at this point, and because look, this week Baltimore gets Arizona. Next week they get Kansas City. So Lamar Jackson's going to remain in our top 5 for the next 2 weeks. So I think Deshaun Watson, with, again, that offensive line, even with Laramie Tunsil and the chance that he goes down, if you can get number 2 quarterback, which is where he was going in drafts, if you can get that value for him and get a one-for-one trade for a running back you can plug in and play every single week, then I'd go with trading Watson.
At tight end, Hawkinson or Andrews?
Hawkinson, just because, look, Andrews got a lot of his production in garbage time, and Andrews faces that Arizona defense that Hawkinson did so well against. But Baltimore will have 3 different tight ends that they'll work into that offense. Hawkinson looks like he could be the number 1 target for Detroit. And remember, Derwin James, the safety, is out for the Chargers, so that makes it easier for Hawkinson to own the middle of the field.
Pick 2 at wide receiver out of Jeffrey, Robert Woods, Allen Robinson.
Ooh. So Jeffrey's going up against Atlanta, and he looked good. He had that touchdown. It was really a screen pass that they counted as a carry, and we know that offense is looking good. Robert Woods is facing New Orleans, and we'll get one of those solid New Orleans outside corners. And then Allen Robinson, well, then you have to count on Mitchell Trubisky, and we were worried about Denver's defense being a tough matchup, but they did not look like a tough matchup at all against Oakland. I would probably go with Jeffrey and Allen Robinson at this point. Allen Robinson is the one I feel most strongly about out of the 3 to get into your lineup.
And at running back, pick 2, it says Ronald James. I'm assuming they mean Ronald Jones. Thompson, Mixon, and Kerryon Johnson.
I still think Kerryon Johnson's going to be okay. I would go ahead and go with him. Remember, Marlon Mack ran all over the Chargers, so he should be one. If Mixon is on the field, I'm going to go ahead and play Joe Mixon. If Mixon is inactive, you're not going to have a chance to wait around on Ronald Jones because he plays tomorrow night. Also, that's a really tough matchup at Carolina. So I would say wait around. If Mixon plays, he's in. If not, go with Chris Thompson and hope for a lot of receptions against Dallas, as there'll be probably some garbage time in that game.
Still have a few minutes to get a question in for Sigmund Bloom via the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255, First Bank text line 67129, or message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Next up is Bill. Hi, Bill.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
All right, so with the injury, is D.D. Westbrook dropped down? Because now I can drop him and pick up maybe Waller or Buffalo. What's it?
John Brown.
John. Yeah. Either or Conley with Jacksonville, because it seems like Westbrook is almost like invisible to this new quarterback. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would agree.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, I would agree with your analysis there that Gardner Minshew, who actually looked pretty good for a rookie right off the bench, was Kansas City. But this week it's Houston, whose secondary is not very good. But I think that's absolutely right. Westbrook is more of the short-range target, not a very exciting play. I think John Brown's going to be an every-week start, and I certainly like John Brown this week against the Giants. I'd also try to find a way to get Waller, even if you have a tight end, because that's going to allow somebody who missed at tight end in the draft to make up for that and have an every-week start. So Brown would be the first priority, and then maybe try to find a way to get Waller, too, and drop Westbrook.
All right, Steve is next. Hi, Steve. You're on with Sigmund Bloom.
Hey, guys. 2 quick questions for you. I'm in a 2-quarterback league. It's not a super flex. It's a 2-quarterback league, and we are restricted to only 13 pickups throughout the season.
Oof.
So, yeah, tough league. My first question is, 2-quarterback league, I've got my home. For my second quarterback, I can either go Kyler Murray, Andy Dalton, or Josh Allen. So that's my first question. For my second question, I've got O.J. Howard. I'm thinking about dropping Robbie Anderson for T.J. Hawkinson. He's still on the waiver wire. I'd like to know what you think about both of them.
All right, Steve. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, Steve. This week, I would say, with Kyler Murray, as good as he looked in the fourth quarter and overtime, they're facing Baltimore. Baltimore on the road. It's going to show them some different looks. I'd be cautious with him. Josh Allen was terrible until C.J. Mosley went out. It's a matchup against the Giants that I'm not scared of. But I actually think Andy Dalton is the guy to go with here because of just how pass-happy this offense was and how good they looked against Seattle. And now they get to come home. Seattle's a tough place to play. So Dalton would be the second quarterback there. I would go ahead and use one of those 13 transactions to pick up Hawkinson. And Robbie Anderson, he's a little banged up. He was facing a good corner, but he's facing a good corner again this week on Monday night. And Adam Gase seems like he's not going to have this offense throw downfield a lot. T.J. Hawkinson has the look of somebody who could be a top 5 tight end from here on out. And then being able to hold on to Howard to see if Jameis Winston gets it going. I think that's the best move for you, to have those 2 tight ends and see who levels off. So I like that move for you.
Man, and Steve, you may want to stage a mutiny and overtake your commissioner. Ease up the rules, commish. My
That's
goodness.
better, more strategy, Eli. I like anything that makes decisions more difficult in a fantasy league is a good thing.
Why 13? That's interesting. Got 2 questions. PPR league: Breida or Aaron Jones, Diggs or John Brown?
Ooh, I'm going John Brown over Diggs. I just like Brown anyway, but again, we don't know how often they're going to throw the ball for Minnesota. Aaron Jones, he looked good as the game went on, and he's still going to get 60-70% of the work. Matt Breida is a co-lead back right now. I think Raheem Mostert is an interesting name on the waiver wire. I would go ahead and go with Aaron Jones despite the tough matchup, partially because Breida already had to get checked out for a concussion last week, and as good as Breida looks when he's healthy, that seems to be a very seldom occurrence for him.
All right, knock out some quick ones here on text. These 4 wide receivers, rank them for the rest of the season. A.J. Brown, Kenny Stills, Randall Cobb, or Sig's favorite, Kiki Cutie.
Kiki Cutie's last. I'd go Stills, Brown, Cobb, Cutie.
I hate to hear that.
He's first in our hearts.
He's second behind Christian Michael. Christian Michael, number 1 in our hearts. Kiki Cutie, number 2. Dak or Russell Wilson, and what effect will AB have on Edelman production with New England?
Dak over Russell Wilson this week, although I like Russell Wilson on the road in Pittsburgh. If Antonio Brown is in, he really overlaps a lot with Edelman's role. So I think that it makes them both like wide receiver 3 flexes with high upside every week, but there's only so many balls to go around.
Standard League, drafted Sony Michel as my flex. Can I trust him going forward? John Brown and Alshon Jeffrey are the next best options right now.
I'd say Sony Michel this week you can trust, and actually the New England schedule is pretty soft through the first half of the year, so you can trust him through the first half of the year. But in a PPR league, John Brown might still be the better play.
Is Juju safe to keep as a wide receiver, or should I pick up Giovanni Bernard or wait for more info on Mixon?
Juju is safe to keep, and the Patriots are really good at taking away the favorite target of the opponent. We saw Seattle have a lot of trouble stopping Cincinnati last week. Juju gets right this week.
And we talked about Bernard earlier with Mixon. But I guess if you've got Mixon and you got somebody to drop, I guess you could handcuff him, right?
Exactly, and I think that but it looks like Mixon at most will miss 1 week.
Henry, Chubb, or Ingram?
Ooh. Baltimore against Arizona, it's really tough to pass that up, even though Chubb and Henry will get more work. I think you got to go with Ingram.
Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, or Phillip Rivers?
I'll go with Rivers. Rivers looked good last week, despite the offensive line woes. And again, I expect a low-scoring, boring game between Minnesota and Green Bay for NFC North supremacy.
And one other one, this is for me. What do we do with Darius Geis?
I think you drop him. I mean, it wasn't like the running game was going anyway, and it's not going to get any better as the season goes on. He may only miss a few weeks. I'm not rushing out to get Adrian Peterson. I just think that, especially these early waiver wire runs, you want to take shots at some of these players that we might see their value grow. Mecole Hardman, Malcolm Brown, T.J. Hawkinson, some of these names we've been talking about. By week 2, or week 3, week 4, you might really wish you picked them up.
Tell everybody about footballguys.com.
Well, we've got you covered. My podcast is free. The Audible, look for it, iTunes and Google Play and all those places. 8 episodes a week. We've got a free newswire, free message board, free newsletter you can sign up for to get the latest news that we write up analysis on every day in your inbox, or you can subscribe. And if you're obsessing about fantasy football, then you belong with us.
He is Sigmund Bloom from footballguys.com. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom and catch him every Wednesday right here on Sports 56 Middays. Thank you, Sig.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Once you've set your lineup and you want to watch all of the action, get on over to East Coast Wings and Grill to watch it. They've got all kinds of TVs for you to watch all of the games each and every Sunday. And, of course, you can enjoy great wings when you do so. Wings that come in 60 different flavors. That's right, 60 flavors of wings. All of those flavors available in 7 different heat indexes. So the options are endless. Great draft beer selection as well. Monday nights for Monday Night Football. That's Wing Day. 65-cent boneless wings, 75-cent bone-in. Thursday Night Football, 65-cent boneless wings. They're all day on Thursday, but of course there's football as well that night, 3:30 to 6, Monday through Friday. They've got happy hour, which includes some half-price appetizers and draft beers, $12 buckets of beers, and 2-for-1 wines for the ladies. Tonight is Wednesday. That means they've got live music over at East Coast Wings and Grill. Great food, great wings, great other options as well on the menu. Always fresh, never frozen food, very family-friendly, all the things you would ever want. East Coast Wings and Grill, just off Highway 64, next to the Lowe's. Go by and see them at East Coast Wings and Grill.
All right, our final half hour coming up. We'll get back into the Antonio Brown saga. We'd love to hear from you. Anything that's on your mind in the world of sports. First Bank text line, 67129. First Bank phone lines are open, 360-8255. We go guest-free the rest of the way. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hayfields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
When you're well-dressed, people say,
Nice suit.
when you're best dressed, they say,
Nice suit.
The JCPenney Men's Best Dressed event is happening now. Score 50% off men's select suit separates, sport coats, and dress pants from Collection by Michael Strahan, Stafford, and JFJ Farrar. And for big and tall guys, shop Shaquille O'Neal, XLG, and more. Plus, get an extra 25% off with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. JCPenney. Offers valid 9/12 to 9/18. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Football is here. You said that at the beginning of the last Central Barbecue ad. That's because it's important. Central Barbecue goes with a lot of things. Any season, any sport. But football has tailgating, and tailgating means having to feed a lot of people, and maybe you don't feel like you want to make barbecue for all those people. Maybe you know you can't make better barbecue than Central Barbecue. Exactly. Central Barbecue is here to make your life easier. Call ahead or order online and pick up all the food you need for a great day of tailgating. I believe it's called bulk ordering. It is called bulk ordering, and it's the future of tailgating. Central Barbecue, always just a little ahead of the curve. Quit coming up with great taglines.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Fiveash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Brett Young live at the Garden this Saturday at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden. One night, Brett Young, all the hits, with opening act Riley Green. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radians, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. Brett Young live at the Garden this Saturday.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Well, she was an American girl, raised up in promises. She couldn't.
Welcome back, everybody. So I'm looking at this story here during the break from Yahoo Sports. In a transcript of a conversation recorded by the FBI in June 2017, but not previously published in the media, former Arizona assistant basketball coach Emmanuel Book Richardson told undercover agents he paid $40,000 to a high school coach to help ensure the academic eligibility of former Wildcat player Raleigh Hawkins. My gosh. I mean, more and more and more from the FBI college basketball trial, and yet the NCAA can't use anything.
Don't forget, by the way, we are in lunchtime for a lot of folks over at Moe's today for all you first responders. 50% off your entire purchase at Moe's Southwest Grill locations all around the area in honor of 9/11, saying thank you to all you first responders out there. Again, that's at the Moe's Southwest Grill locations, 50% off today for all first responders.
Marcus Smart of the Celtics has been shut down for Team USA's remaining games, sources telling Shams at The Athletic. Smart wanted to play in the final 2 USA games, but is nursing minor injuries, and the decision was made to avoid further injury. So players continue to fall to the wayside on this team that's now hoping to get 5th place. If you didn't hear it earlier today at the FIBA World Cup, Team USA knocked off by France 89-79. It snapped a 58-game winning streak in FIBA and World Cup, make that FIBA and Olympic competition when using NBA players. And they lose by 10 in the quarterfinals to France on, of all days, 9/11.
2006. They hadn't lost since 2006.
I said earlier that, I mean, it's bad. It's, our pride is hurt by that, and it's disappointing. But I'm not going to knock the guys who actually played, because everybody and their mom copped out. They didn't want to play. And again, that's their prerogative, as I said earlier. These guys at least played. But I just knew that Eli thinks they still should have won gold, maybe. I looked at it, I would never have bet this team to win it all. I'm sorry. Team had Lopez on, Brooke Lopez. It had one of the Plumlees. Which Plumlee do we have with the Grizzlies? It wasn't that Plumlee.
We have
Mason?
I don't know.
One of the the team was full of NBA guys, but it wasn't that good. There was no chemistry, and now they're going to play for 5th place. So certainly sad news. Antonio Brown news, which we talked about earlier. We'd love to hear from you. We didn't have a lot of time to dive into it, and if you want to give us your 2 cents, you can. The First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. You've heard us talk about it throughout the show. You have Brown's agent who has come out and denied the allegation, saying it was a consensual relationship that he had with Brittany Taylor, who happens to be from Memphis, Ridgeway High School graduate, and somebody that actually our producer, Austin Eldridge, knows. She is expected to be married this weekend. Now, what will happen with Antonio Brown, who's expected to be practicing today for the Patriots? There's no criminal charges. Does the NFL try to jump in? I don't know if the Patriots would do anything at this point because of the lack of charges. Right now, it's a he said, she said. And I do know what society we live in. You're innocent until proven guilty. It's a sideshow, certainly, that the Patriots had to understand they were going to be involved in. But I don't think they had any inkling that this also was going to pop to the surface.
Bill Belichick has been asked multiple times about it, and his constant answer is, "We're working on Miami."
Yeah, yes.
If that is not the most Bill Belichick,
he
thing
is
ever.
not going to respond.
He doesn't respond. Could you imagine? Like he broke the norm, and Belichick started to really get into this. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about sexual assault and just really. Bill Belichick doesn't say anything about anybody, about anything in life.
Apparently, to the district attorney, I guess in Pittsburgh, says that his office is going to look into the allegations in light of this. So I don't know. So I guess theoretically, maybe criminal charges end up coming out of this.
Well, that's what happens with civil suits. A lot of times, the criminal activity will come out of that civil suit. And I think she was just probably advised by whoever her lawyer is that a civil suit is better for her situation. That's my guess.
Well, yeah, because
the civil, I mean,
that's money, right?
I mean, the burden of proof is completely different.
Right, but it's a financial challenge basically in the court of law as opposed to a criminal thing for Brown. Now, will she end up pressing charges against him for these alleged
But again, she doesn't.
assault?
She doesn't necessarily have to press charges. The DA could bring charges without her.
Yes, that's true. She
doesn't have to, and that's the DA says.
But she would have to. But she would have to completely cooperate on the stand if it went to trial on that. And who knows if that was the intention at all by her, that eventually criminal charges could be pursued and levied against him. I don't know.
I don't know what she did at the time but I would guess it would be very tough to prove a criminal case.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to believe it's going
to be hard to have enough evidence now, because I assume she didn't do any sort of rape kits or anything like that back then.
Right.
It's going to be very hard to prove a criminal case.
Well, it's a lot of people are going to believe it's a money grab, and you don't believe that, Austin, because you know her, and other people don't believe it either. I don't know either way. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh yeah, Brown. Now the whole texting stuff. I mean, if you've actually looked at that transcript. First of all, good luck in deciphering it. I've hired the best in the business to try to decide. They can't figure it out. So I've lost my money as far as getting those people to help me try to decide. But in all seriousness, I mean, that's some crude stuff from Brown, as a human being, as a man. But whether or not he did what they say he did, I don't know. Like you said, Eli, I don't know how you prove that. Unless she's kept some other stuff like texts, but she's also kept I don't know what it could be, but she's kept other things for this time and when it would surface. I don't know.
I have no idea what happened. They are probably the only two people that do know what happened. And if he did what she says he did, that is disgusting and despicable. If he did not, and she is accusing him of it, that is despicable on her part.
Yes.
And but I have no idea, and I'm not going to guess. So it is what it is.
I will ask you to guess whether or not you believe Antonio Brown plays this weekend for the Patriots against Miami.
I think he probably will.
You think he probably will?
I don't know.
Austin, you think he will?
How quickly the NFL could investigate this, and if they do enough to think maybe there's that there's a good chance there's something there, but she's not even going to cooperate. She's not going to talk to the NFL till next week. So yeah, he'll play this week.
Yeah, I think unless they really have a lot that shows up in the next couple of days. I mean, it's Wednesday already. I think he'll play Sunday just because it's given the NFL's history, and especially what just happened with Tyreek Hill when there was actual proof of things bad happening with him, and he's playing and he just got an extension. If they suspend Antonio Brown with no real proof yet, it's going to cause a major uproar.
Well, the fact that she's not going to be able to meet with him until next week, I mean, they're not going to be able to do anything this week. They're going to have to meet with her before really they can do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
we just had Sig on talking fantasy football. Patrick Mahomes practicing and feeling pretty good, according to head coach Andy Reid. What was it, an ankle that he continued to play with the ankle?
I don't know what it exactly
was. A little bit of a sprain. Also, this just in. From Darren Ravel, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has issued an initial decision on Ohio State's attempt to trademark the word "the." They have refused the application. Shocking.
Surprise.
Trying to patent the word
U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Or as I like to call it, the. But
I mean, how would you copyright a word like that? I've never understood that.
I'm all confused now. We had Tom Terrific, which we knew forever was Tom Seaver, and then Tom Brady wanted to do it, but it had nothing to do with, no disrespect to Seaver. That was refused. Then you have LeBron James trying to get Taco Tuesday. First of all, how that hasn't been trademarked yet is beyond me. I don't think he's going to win on that one. And then you have Ohio State with the word "the."
New Life Medical Center is at 9160 Highway 64. It's not far from I-40 on Highway 64. Open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday. And they could treat a lot of different things. One of the things they do, and what I go see them for, is testosterone replacement therapy. 45% of men over the age of 30 have low testosterone. If you have low testosterone, it can affect various aspects of your life. It could just, you have low energy levels, maybe a low sex drive, could increase, have some increased belly fat, a lot of different things that can come up because of low testosterone. So never hurts, certainly, to go get yourself checked out, see if you are low. And if you are, you can get testosterone replacement therapy to help you in those areas. They also do sick visits. They can do physicals. They've got diabetes they treat, high blood pressure, joint pain. They've got their stem cell treatments, platelet-rich plasma treatment there, things that they do. They do a lot of different stuff, and you don't need an appointment to go see them. Minimal wait times, average of just 7 minutes of waiting, and you'll always see a provider, not a nurse or medical assistant, when you go see them at New Life Medical Center. 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday. The phone number, if you have any questions about services or maybe insurance questions, 213-0100, 213-0100, and online at newlifemedcenters.com. Again, 9160 Highway 64, New Life Medical Center.
A few more tidbits on the Antonio Brown deal. He did practice. It's over. They practiced earlier today in Foxborough, and Brown did take place at practice. He wore number 80. He wore number 1, by the way. He's worn number 84, but that right now is Ben Watson's number. But he wore number 1. They said a temporary number. We'll see if he ends up getting 84 back, but he did practice today. And also on Brittany Taylor, as Austin was alluding to, is willing and planning to meet with the NFL next week, but she is getting married this weekend, so she can't meet before then. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with our final segment, which will include one final thing. Still have a little time to get in a text or a phone call if you like. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Welcome to Moe's!
We are so grateful for your service to our community. We are offering all first responders 50% off their entire meal this Wednesday on 9/11. Moe's always offers fresh ingredients. No freezers, no microwaves, just fresh. Don't forget, Moe's has great catering. You can get a fajita bar, a taco bar, or a salad bar delivered to your organization. Just call 901-606-3172. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday, 9/11 at any of our 5 Memphis locations. Don't forget, we have one in Olive Branch as well.
Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Adios, old friend. Yeah, I've got no secrets and no regrets. Well, a lot of regrets, but the point is I've got nothing to hide. Kind of like the way Progressive shows you their competitors' rates. You gotta put it all out there, baby. Excuse me, miss. Does this heart belong to you? Would you like it anyway?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparisons not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
So we were discussing earlier about the new, well, it's not yet official, but should be soon, the new law in California, which wouldn't go into effect until 2023, where amateur athletes, college players can profit off their likeness, which again is against NCAA amateurism rules. Here's a little bit more on this. Sports Illustrated's written a very detailed story on this. It says the act compels California colleges to reject NCAA rules. The act addresses these points by taking the choice away from the school. Under the act, as currently written, California colleges would be legally forbidden from denying their athletes the chance to hire agents and earn compensation derived from the use of their names, images, and likeness. In other words, California colleges would face a stark choice: follow California law and break NCAA rules, or break California law and follow NCAA rules. Given that the consequences of breaking the law are far more consequential than breaking a not-for-profit's membership policies, the school would presumably follow the law. As a result, college athletes at Stanford, USC, so on and so forth, and many other schools cannot be stopped by athletic department officials from negotiating to be in college sports video games or from being paid to appear in an autograph signing show, on and on and on. Does that
makes more sense. That it's basically, yes, I get it now. You're putting the university, which is the NCAA. The NCAA is made up of those universities. They could theoretically still say, no, that's against our rule. You are not eligible, but that would be breaking the law. So therefore, they don't want to break the law.
Right. So it supersedes, basically, the importance of.
Well, no, it's the decision they want to make. Would you rather break the law or just break the NCAA?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because you'd be breaking the law, that the importance of that supersedes the NCAA's bylaws because you don't want to break the law. So it's really going to be interesting. Now, here's the other thing. A lot of people believe that, well, if this comes to fruition, which it should, then every great athlete's going to California. But how many players will it affect? It will only affect the top players. I mean, not everybody on a team. There's not 100 football players that walk on. They're not going to be getting deals with agents for their likeness. It's going to affect only a certain number of players. And even if the NBA changes its law, or changes its rule about players going right to the NBA from high school, which I believe it's on the way to changing again, there's still the next group of players that will step up, and they will be the best players in college, and they will be the players that companies come after and fans want autographs and pictures of, and they're the ones that would be compensated under this new law in California.
Couple of texts here on Antonio Brown and Raider Corey says Antonio's lost all benefit of the doubt at this point. His erratic behavior and now this will eventually put him on the commissioner exempt list, and he has no one to blame but himself. Yeah, I mean, as that investigation goes, certainly after they meet with her, and if they feel there's enough there, they could go to put him on the exempt list. We have seen that during other investigations of things. That is kind of when you're hanging in the balance as they investigate, you put them on that exempt list where they get paid, but they're not allowed to play. So Nico says if AB is guilty, he deserves more punishment than what he can get in a civil trial. But if AB is innocent and cut anyway, that's just karma and nature, bringing a little balance to what he did in Pittsburgh and Oakland.
Yes, true, too. But also, if it's not true, as I've always said, then the woman in this case should be punished. If she is completely lying, I don't care how bad a dude AB is or how much you don't like him, then she should pay the price.
Yeah, I said, I mean, it is despicable behavior one way or the other. And if he did what she said, it's beyond despicable. It's horrendous, everything else. If he did not do this, if it was, as he claims, consensual sex, and now she is trying to sue him for money for that, then that is despicable on her part.
Here's the other thing. I suggest that anybody else out there who has something on AB or has a story about AB, just bring it on up now. Let's get rid of it because they're playing football now. I want to talk more about the games, the X's and O's, the matchups, the lines, things of that nature, as opposed to these type of allegations or stupid things that OBJ is doing. But in the summer, when the games aren't being played, you look for stories, and you hope it's not as serious as these allegations, but you look for stories. Now we're playing football. So if you have something, don't wait till next week to drop the bomb or the week after to drop the bomb. Let's get it all out of the way because I'm sure there's a few more things out there with Antonio Brown.
Time for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Well, as we look back at now the 18th anniversary of 9/11 back in 2001, and we think about where we were and how it impacted all of us, impacted this country, impacted the entire world, and all the first responders and all the police and firemen and everybody involved in New York and in D.C. and in Pennsylvania. And, our hearts go out to the families and friends who lost loved ones, something that we will never, ever, ever forget. But there's also the individuals who wanted to fight for our country as things escalated after 9/11. And the stories are amazing. And one of those amazing stories is Pat Tillman, who started Arizona State, played in the NFL, and decided to leave the NFL and all that money to fight for his country, for what happened in retribution. And this was a clip that's out there on social media today, and I thought it was apropos to play it here. This was the day after 9/11, as Pat Tillman still was an NFL player and not yet an Army hero. And here's what he had to say.
I think, it's like anything. You kind of take it for granted, especially in the country we live in. We are such a free society, and we look at that flag, and I've always had a great deal of feeling for the flag, but even someone who considers themselves that way, you just don't think about it all the time. You don't realize what it gives. You don't realize how great a life we have over here. Even as athletes, we bitch and moan every now and again about this or that, and if we ever to just, times like this, you stop and think about just how, not only how good we have it, but what kind of a system we live under, what freedoms were allowed. And that wasn't built overnight, and it's kind of, the flag is a symbol of all that, a symbol of, my great-grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and a lot of my family has given up, has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a damn thing as far as laying myself on the line like that, and so I have a great deal of respect for those that have and what the flag stands for.
And not soon after that, he did a damn thing, and he went into the Army, and he left football and was killed, tragically.
Oh, Cleveland Browns. You guys, you're quite funny. So the Browns, they had the incident with the beer being poured on Logan Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted to ban the fan who did that to Logan Ryan. And they did ban that fan indefinitely. Eric Smith, who is a Cleveland area DJ, got a phone call from Vice President of Ticket Sales and Service, Bob Civic, I guess this morning, telling him he is banned from the stadium for pouring the beer on Logan Ryan. However, Smith says he has not been to a game since 2010.
Wrong person? Is that what you're saying here?
So, he
Good
said,
old mistaken identity.
He says he was with his family on game day until about 2 o'clock. Then he left to go DJ a wedding. Civic said that his tattoos had been matched and he had been seen on camera several times throughout the afternoon. When Smith requested the footage, Civic allegedly replied, "You don't have to get defensive if you're innocent." So I don't know. We will see where this goes. But Eric Smith is the guy that's banned, but he says I haven't been to a game since 2010. So
I still don't think they should have banned him either. Maybe a 1-game or 2-game suspension.
I don't think he poured a beer on him if he hasn't been there since 2010.
So the infamous beer pourer could still be on the loose. He may not have been captured.
According to Eric Smith, he's definitely still on the loose.
Dangerous criminal on the street.
Yeah, look out, Cleveland.
And I would think if it would be very easy for Eric Smith to be able to prove he was not there pouring a beer if he was DJing a wedding at the time, could very easily produce the couple and say, "Was I DJing your wedding?"
You would think, right?
And they would say yes, and he would be like, "Clearly I wasn't at the Browns game then."
Bring in the kids, man. Bring in the animals, the pets. You don't want this guy running around in your neighborhood. He's been known to pour soda as well and water.
Actually, they might be like, yeah, bring it on. I need some beer.
Our thanks to Steve Campbell, the head coach at South Alabama, for joining us today. The Tigers' opponent this Saturday. Also, USC head coach Clay Helton, Jerry Palm, and Sigmund Bloom. Tomorrow, Brandon Lang will handicap some of the big NFL and college football games this weekend. Mike Norvell will join us, Tigers football head coach, as we'll have our Tiger football report. Also, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl hour with Harold Grader. We'll have our world-famous Pick 6. It's all coming up on another busy edition of Middays. That's tomorrow starting at 10. Stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. It is coming up next. For Austin Eldridge, Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Got $100 bill, you can keep your